Like that, we louder than the TV.
And like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
All right, man. I feel like this topic almost needs no introduction. The street's been buzzing. Diddy, well, he's not free. Damn.
Free that man.
Diddy was acquitted on some charges. We'll do a deep dive and a look at some of the charges that he was found guilty for. Some of the ones he was acquitted for. What does it mean? Does it mean he's innocent? Does it just mean he's not guilty? What is the grand scheme, big picture of this look like? Is Me Too dead? I don't know. It's a bunch of things that we can kind of get into based around this conversation. Does this mean that there is not an attack on wealthy black men and it wasn't because he sued that alcohol company? I don't know. It can mean anything. But before we get into that, I love for our fire panel to introduce themselves. We're going to kind of get into the nooks and crannies of this conversation. Pause, maybe if necessary. Johnny, talk to him, brother.
What's going on, man? Glad to be back. It's the man Johnny P, host of the To Be Fair Show. Yeah, just happy to be back. I think this one's this one been bubbling for a while, so I'm glad to finally get it over with. And yeah, we're gonna move on. See, they're gonna probably have somebody next week, but at least this one over with.
Okay. G, talk to him, brother.
What's good, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check it out wherever you get your pods. Just search GSHPOD. Ha.
All right. Again, before we get too deep into the conversation, we'll spend most of our time on the conversation. Obviously, we love to hit a couple quick icebreakers when applicable. Something or nothing. There's a couple things that came across the feed this week. Y'all let me know if it's something or nothing. Trump and Elon. As we start the deportation conversation, Trump said, "Don't nobody want them EV vehicles," and he's going to have to look into deporting Elon. Elon said that if the bill passes, he's going to start his own party. America needs to get away from the two-party system. Is this something or nothing? The world's richest man, the world's powerfulest man, exchanging jabs on Truth Social and X.
I mean, I think it could be something, but right now it's nothing. I think they just talking.
Okay.
But I mean, that third party thing, that get my, I'm like, oh, that tickled my ears a little bit. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's something. I like
Mhm.
I like the idea of a third party, but
You
yeah, it's
rolling with
just
the
talk.
Elon third party?
Not necessarily Elon's, but the idea to see somebody actually doing it would be interesting to watch. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and Trump ain't finna ban that boy. He just had the Teslas out there on the White House. He talking about now don't nobody water. He just bought one. So I
Oh,
think they
I
just
think like when your top donor just say, let me do a commercial real quick. This two, what is it, $500 million commercial? Ain't that what he paid to the campaign? It was something like that. It was like a quick little $500 million commercial. That was it.
But like, I mean,
G. Uh,
he got more money.
is this something? Is this nothing? Trump, Elon going back and forth. Is it just fodder for the feed, or could this actually turn into something real?
Nah, I don't think it's gonna turn into nothing real. At the end of the day, Trump got 3.5 more years left in office. Elon's gonna be around doing what he does with his businesses a lot longer than when Trump is long and gone. So I think this is just Elon being Elon, man. He really like another version of Kanye West. He can't go without attention. Like he has to be in the
I think we learning
conversation.
that too. How old is he? He in his 50s, right?
I think so.
Elon Musk age. Let me look at 54. Damn. That's he yeah, damn. It's a little wild when you think about how Elon Musk acts at 54, to be honest. Shout out.
I mean,
Johnny, you just telling us about Al Pacino popping out one at 89. The new 54s, they popping them out too. They
I was gonna say, but it's funny to see Trump act how he acted for his age. So I mean, all maturity's gone out the window for no matter what age group you're looking at it. I think
okay.
compared to the previous generation, we're all a little less mature at whatever age.
Gotcha. All right. So as we're kind of going through some of the quick hitters, the Discord, these are two topics that they wanted us to, I guess, at least bring up before we dive into the TMZ fest of Diddy. The deportation. There's two different deportation conversations that's happening. From what I've seen, there's something dealing with the Haitians. Maybe y'all can kind of give me like the official rundown of what it is. Something about, is it September 2nd? Maybe it'll be easier for them to deport current Haitians that are in America or something like that. Yeah, what are y'all thoughts? Is this something? Is it nothing? I'll toss it out to y'all.
I think that could be. So, I mean, I think as a Black American, I'm not necessarily scared. But as far as like if I was Haitian, yeah, that's definitely
You think
something.
you could get
Okay,
confused for a Haitian?
nah, my hair too curly. Never mind. I take that back.
Let me go look and see what Haitians look like.
They on the
But,
same island as the Dominicans, so them niggas gotta
Yeah,
have
I'm
some
a,
curls, man. They
yeah.
gotta have some
I feel
curls.
like Johnny, you would be
that
a
was I'll probably be more
one of
either.
them guys from one side of the mountain.
Yeah, you would fall on the Haiti side, low key.
But him
No,
targeting
my say yours
specifically,
would be in. Would be in. I'd go on that other side.
but him specifically targeting Haitians. Is that something? Is it nothing? Again, it's a genocide in South Africa. We
I
gotta
think
send them
if
Haitians
I
back
was,
now, and they're eating cats and
if,
dogs. I forgot about that. But
I think if I was Haitian, I'd be worried because they had. I think when the earthquake came, the earthquake hit back in 2014, 2012 or something. They had certain protection that allowed so many of them to come over here. And I think he's rolling that back at
okay.
whatever date. So I don't think he's just like ramming them up, but the certain
I'm not Johnny.
protection
You will
that
for
they
sure pass for a Haitian man. I'm looking at the pictures now. My bad, Johnny. Keep going.
had. I'm FBA. I ain't passing for none of that. Don't make me call Trey, man. Don't make me.
All right, keep going, Johnny. Keep going.
But I think it's
And
I
maybe the
definitely
fear is this is that with the sweeping of like the sweeping deportations of black people or people within like the black diaspora in general, uh no different than how there's been, I forget the percentage, but there's a percentage of Hispanics that are getting rounded up that are American citizens and then put over on the other side and it's like, hey, wait, I'm actually American. And that's been a part of the process of like them just saying, fuck it, we're gonna grab everybody and figure shit out later. Where I think some of the rhetoric would be that this leaves leeway for maybe, some black people to get rounded up as a part of that.
I
You
think
know, that
that's a
rolling.
lot stickier. I think that's a lot stickier of a subject, and I don't think people just going like if you just ran up like I don't think it, I mean it
What do
could
you
be
mean by
easy.
just go? You think ICE, like the Hispanics, is letting ICE run down on
Well,
them?
no, well, no, I think there'll be major backlash if they just start rounding up groups of black people. I think, even foreign people are going to start talking. I think it's going to be a major thing based on the history, the specific history of this country with black people. I think it's a totally different precedent than just grabbing Hispanic people. I think it's a totally different, opens up a totally different door, totally different Pandora box if
Like
they just
if
start
a couple, like what if like 3 or 4 blacks get caught inside the? You think it'll be like a big uproar?
He definitely will. I mean, if you take somebody who was born in American soil and send them elsewhere,
That's what's
that
happening with the
speak.
Hispanics right now.
I don't know how many people are getting sent deported. Some of them are getting rounded up, but I think it's totally different with black people versus Hispanic people. And
The black people
I don't have no.
they usually get treated special.
Nah, not really. But I just feel like,
Uh,
and maybe I'm just emotional,
G,
but I
talk
just
to us.
feel like.
Round off this part of the conversation.
Man, being in North Carolina, I ain't worried. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't too many Haitians.
It ain't too many around these parts, if we're being honest. So,
This
like,
is fair, actually. Yeah,
if you're like in Boston, New York, these major areas where you got, heavy Caribbean influence, Florida, for example, you might want to be on your P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, like, I just don't, I'm not gonna, I don't agree that this means like regular niggas are getting deported to El Salvador with the M13 niggas. Like, it's not happening. It's just, if when there were movements in the early like 1900s where black people were actually talking about they want to go back, like they tried Liberia. You know what I'm saying? Like they've tried to get niggas up out of America before, and it just didn't work out as well. So I think that America's solution with keeping black Americans casted as like the lowest tier, they have kind of done their thing with that, and they don't really see a need to like move us further. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, our numbers population wise, they're not really growing like the Hispanic population. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you look at the black community, unfortunately, I don't think they perceive our community as much of a threat to the establishment as they do to Hispanics. So that's why you see a little bit more. But as it relates to Haitians specifically, I think that's just fodder for the, for the
for the
base. You know
internet.
what I'm saying? Yeah, that's. I don't think it means much.
And yeah, I think that this will probably lead us into a conversation next week, where there was a topic about, are black people losing their power, as it be, or political power, sit in the couch and, like playing the independent game. But what you kind of just spoke to leads a little bit more into like the general conversation of, are black people in general losing their quote unquote power in America, like their, space that they've occupied as quote unquote it's not even necessarily been like the top in inside number, but in power as it comes down to immigrant, or not immigrant, minority. Apologize for that, minority. Moving on. Let me see. I think the guys wanted us to hit something else. Oh yeah, black people getting deported because of, yeah, like a part of the whole. Trump is saying that after the deportations, he's going to be looking at sending the worst of the American criminals to other countries and other jails. This is something that he said, that his press secretary said that he spoke about it in public, but he also be talking about it in private. And it's something that we're thinking about trying to figure out a way to do. As part of that, the like a lot of the Twitter, YouTube sphere, they've kind of spoken about who are likely to be targeted to be those specific people, that group of people. And this is where the idea of they're going to eventually use this as means to round up and deport off black people, or, black people being a target of this. What do y'all fellas think?
It's a big difference in saying, all right, now All right, so Steve, according to Steve, one of us is a felon. Or no, what is it? 1/3 of black men have been to jail. What was this? What was it? Was it a felon or jail? I can't remember which one of the two. But
I could just look up the number.
there's some crazy
With the
statistic
felony.
that says like 1/3 of black men are either have been locked up or have some type of arrest record or something to that nature, right? So the fact that we are disproportionately criminalized is one thing.
Can't be felony because that's 8%.
Okay.
Probably
Steve,
arrested.
Steve,
Probably
get us the facts on that, Steve. But I know that the black community is disproportionately criminalized. So if then in theory you're going to target criminals after illegals, then there will be, say, by that definition, a disproportionate number of black people represented in what's going on. But I don't think that you're just gonna get any more than what already happens, right? Like I've fit the description so many different times in my lifetime. So it's like that thing already exists for us that much. But maybe in a bigger city, like I said, in these bigger cities, I think it might ring off maybe a little more. Bigger cities and border states, but I don't really see it like that here in Carolina, if I'm being real.
And what do you, when you say you wouldn't see
like
that?
just all this like talk about getting deported and these like I see it on the internet.
I think that this is a different conversation. This is so this is adjacent but not the same as the black people getting caught up with the Haitians thing.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't see people in North Carolina fearful of. I only hear people on the internet afraid. I don't hear the community on the grounds like talking to each other around here like when. But I don't think
geographic location would matter inside like this part of like if this hypothetically was to get passed, this would just have to deal with if you have criminal convictions and you're multi-time felon, if you will be subject to be possibly deported out of the country. That's what this whole entire conversation is around. And they're saying that because the black people are criminalized at a higher rate, they'll be more likely to be subject to this. Where that could be whether you're in, Nebraska or North Carolina or Florida or New York. It'd be the idea of who's criminalized more. And off that criminalization, who will be more likely to be deemed as heinous criminals, because that's who he's saying that they're trying to push over to these other countries' jails.
Yeah, and like I said, in theory, it would be true, but I just don't think in reality it's going to make much of a difference to how we're already being, targeted and fitting descriptions. That's my point.
Gotcha.
And I also think something that where I don't necessarily I'm not too concerned about it. Because like G said, we're already criminalized in this country. And I think and one thing that's, being overlooked in this is like the prison industrial complex and the school to prison pipeline and how much they actually how much that's an economy for people. So I don't see them necessarily shipping that off when they're making money on people being in prison. I'm necessarily sending, prisoners off so somebody else can make money on it. I think it's capitalistic.
Isn't it more expensive to house? Aren't we? Is prisons in America overall profitable?
It's a industry that it's like one thing feeds the other. So,
right, but overall, like because of overcrowding in prisons and how much it costs to house, and
they're very profitable. They're very profitable because they're private businesses. They wouldn't have so many private prisons if they weren't profitable.
They have quotas, and I think
isn't it profitable only because of like they get subsidized by the government, but what the government is paying per prisoner, and then what you look at that as in what their product output would be. I don't know if that it would be quote unquote like literally profitable in comparison if they still do the same exact labor, but you shorten the amount of heads in which I forget it costs more to house. Go ahead.
No, because if I own the prison, it's like Section 8 kind of. If I own the prison, the government's going to pay me when people get locked up. So I'm going to get money. I'm going to get paid to house these criminals. for the state,
Yeah,
for the county.
you're talking about the private businessman part. I'm talking about because this would be like we're speaking governmental. So like for the government, it would be like advantageous if prisons wasn't as crowded. If like it's Section 8, so like you're paying that money out anyway. Like the private business is going to profit regardless because it's subsidized. But the government, like what is it? Like the deficit will grow because like how much you're actually paying per prisoner.
But it's still profitable. That like, so when you say profitable, it's profitable.
It's profitable for like the private owner of the prison, but not for the government. Like
yeah, sure, yeah. The government is terrible.
Right.
You're right.
And that's why like they'll be looking into like deporting out and pushing those to other countries and shit like that. I imagine that's the concept behind the whole shit.
I don't know about those details because you still got to pay to ship them out. And like to Johnny's point, they do exploit that labor for pennies on the dollar.
Right, but how much money is the government getting back of that? In comparison of like price per prisoner.
The government
but
is a
I
small
think
piece.
Prisoners are lobbyists though. They pay.
Right.
Huh?
The government's just a small piece to the puzzle.
All these private prisoners that like control, like not necessarily control the laws, but they have a lot of influence on what gets passed and what doesn't. I think it's CCA. I watched a documentary on them a few years ago, and they like a big corporation, and they pay millions of dollars to lobbyists to help pass certain laws. So I don't necessarily see why it would be in their interest to necessarily send their profit or their inventory elsewhere. And that's just my initial thought on it. I'd have to look up, and I got a little something pulled up on it now, but I don't necessarily see why there would be a big push to send black people. I think it's just a talking point, but I don't necessarily see them executing it.
Well, it's only a talking point at the moment because it's not anything that's on the books. But just a quick search, it looked like 8% of is it 8% of prisons are private? Percentage of prisons in America that are private. Private prisons in America house about 8% of the total state and federal prison population. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know how much this would even impact privately owned prisons because there's so many more prisoners that aren't impacted by this, this industry. But we'll it sounds like this is another unpacking that we can find our way into. But yeah, any final thoughts before we kind of move on? And any of these, the deportation, the Al Pacino baby, I don't know, Johnny, what you got for us?
Oh no, you told me she was too old, so it didn't matter.
Do you want to give the people a little background on exactly what you're talking about?
Oh, I just saw the age gap. Al Pacino had a baby. He 82, I think, and the woman 29. And so I saw the big
29.
age. I saw the big age gap, and I was like, damn. Ain't nobody talking about that, but then Q explained it to me. He was like, "Yeah, well, she's of age, so I guess it don't matter as much because she's 29."
That's
But
crazy.
that's still a huge age gap, though. I think the age gap is like insane to still be pushing babies out at 82. Congrats to him.
Gotcha. Well, if we don't have any commentary, I guess it's time to move on to Diddy. They say that the Bad Boys anthems they've been ringing out in the streets of where's the trial at, G?
New York, right?
Is it New York?
Yeah.
It's ringing out in the streets of New York.
It's raining.
I'll play a couple clips and we'll kind of walk our way through it, and then we got some pointed questions to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the conversation.
We might have to slide through this one. Pause.
People are pouring baby oil on one another outside this courthouse. Baby oil having a very big play in the freak offs we heard about.
Man, New York gotta be shut down, man. They gotta stop New York. New York is insane, bro.
All right.
Defense, meanwhile, argued the women were willing participants in fulfilling Combs' sexual desires, and that all the encounters we heard about in this trial were consensual. And there you see, after the verdict, Diddy's family celebrating on the streets in New York City, doing push-ups on the sidewalk while others danced. They said a few words exclusively to ABC News, and the attorney for Cassie Ventura also spoke out about this verdict.
Love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
He
He
got
ain't even shout out the
right
album.
now.
He's supposed to shout out the project right there. Go listen to me and Kanye. He ain't even take advantage of the marketing. Come on, man.
United States versus Sean Combs, not guilty. One count of racketeering conspiracy. Not guilty. 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Guilty. Count 3 of transportation to engage in prostitution. Not guilty. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. I think this is like Cassie and Jane Doe. And then guilty. Transportation to engage in prostitution. So that pretty much runs down the verdict. I'll let her give us a little bit, and then from there
John
we
Diddy
can
Combs has just been
we can jump
found
into the
guilty
conversation.
of transportation to engage in prostitution, but not guilty on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Now, the biggest charge here was the RICO charge, and he's been found not guilty. I'm outside of the Manhattan courthouse right now, where there's a big crowd, and I'll be back with more soon. John Diddy Combs has.
All right, fellas. So that is the verdict as it stands so far. Guilty on transportation to engage in prostitution. He was found not guilty on the RICO. I think the RICO was what they had to kind of go back and deliberate again for a day or two. But today they came out 9 o'clock in the morning and said, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." And yeah, not guilty on sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion as well. But with that said, fellas, what are y'all initial thoughts as it comes down to the verdict? Johnny, we can start with you, my boy.
I think we got to shout out that boy Brian Steele, man. The lawyers, the boy just beat one down there in Atlanta with Thug, and then he went up to New York and took on the fans and beat Rico. So I think the lawyer in this,
Wait, he had Young Thug's lawyer?
yeah, Brian Steele. He had multiple lawyers, but one of the lawyers in the case with Brian Steele, he just beat the Thug case. So I mean, he gaining clout. I think, I don't know how much of that goes to connections and working behind the scenes to help get some of that done. But I definitely think them lawyers was on Diddy's side, and the prosecution still put up a good case for the most part. But I think the good lawyers, man, it show you what money can do, man. Good lawyers will, get you off when you in a pickle, a bad one. You get off.
Yeah,
Well,
and I would say he is still found guilty on 2 of the charges in which I guess it can be. I forget what the maximums and the minimum.
both carry 10-year maximums, but they don't have any minimums. So in theory, he could walk with time served. They tried to let him get out of there early. They tried to argue for it, but they shut it down. But like my initial thought looking at it, like I thought it was very from the start, right? The fact that they went after him with that RICO was like such a game changer, because it was like you're going after Diddy with a RICO when typically that's for like real criminal organizations that are criminal organizations, the mob, BMF, like they clearly are doing like illegal enterprise. Whereas as Diddy, they tried to argue that his record label business and music business was actually an illegal enterprise by legal definition. And I think like it's an interesting case from the fact that I think by like technical, like word for word, like it could have applied, hence why they went for the charge. But where I give the lawyers credit, Johnny, is I think they just did good on the what do you call them people? The juror selection. Because at the end of the day, like,
But that's because Diddy's a famous person though, so it's kind of easy. The defense has benefit. You got a little bit of an advantage when your client's that famous.
It could be a disadvantage too. So it's like you do gotta really be careful about who you let on the jury as the defense lawyer, who you ask to get removed.
And the biggest thing, all you need is one.
I think that jury selection is the thing that ultimately did it for him. Because the other piece too though is like I think it tells me that somebody or something pushed the federal government to pursue it at the level in which they did when they probably shouldn't have, because like they could have gone after Diddy with a tighter case around a simpler set of charges, but they threw the whole kitchen sink at the beginning, and I think that's what hurt him ultimately.
Well, I think that's what I was gonna say. I think this is going. I think this is a win for the music industry, hip hop more specifically, as far as like we're gonna see prosecutors, even the feds. Like you're gonna have to have such a tight case in order to get these RICOs. So as what the last two cases are showing, that the standard of getting the RICO is so high now because I think a lot of these prosecutions, I think what a lot of the people on the jury are seeing that uh these are kind of like show trials. Like a lot of the stuff with Diddy, like they just tried to make him look bad and not necessarily. There wasn't a lot of like clearly, I mean, they beat the cases. So I think the next Rico that we see is going to be a lot more deliberate, a lot more intentional, and I think it's probably I think they're going to
Yeah,
charge alone because they not
uh,
getting like.
your connection broke up for a quick second.
Oh, I was just saying I think they're not going to go after no more music artists for a while because I think the last two cases are showing that the precedent of being able to prove without a reasonable doubt is so high that
But
Yeah.
it's
here's
going
the
to be
but
worth
Hey,
it.
Alex, don't hide in the chat. Pull up on us.
but
Uh,
they the RICO might go away, but he still did get hit with two felonies. I ain't know
yeah.
just flying some hoes across the border was
Well,
a
prostitute.
felony.
Yeah.
Like that should just be a
You gotta keep
misdemeanor. For
emotion.
probably paying for pussy should be a misdemeanor, bro.
Man, we
New
had a
York, you got
great
New York,
conversation about
you
this
can't
in the
go.
movie fair show.
Right? Like paying for pussy is
I
at
was gonna
most is
tell these
really,
niggas that
really,
if
really
you
paying for
find
pussy is a speeding
out,
ticket.
they ain't
It's a
want to listen to me.
citation. It really shouldn't even be a misdemeanor. If you paying for pussy, it should be like a ticket and you go home.
They
Uh,
say technically it's the
At the
oldest
most.
profession out there. They say it's the oldest profession out there.
yeah, so in essence, we'll get there. It sounds like y'all are advocates for legalizing prostitution.
Oh, it
But
should be legal in a
we'll get there.
capitalist free market. Why you can't sell pussy?
Okay, okay.
We
Um,
motherfuckers out here selling beer and selling water. We can't sell pussy.
okay, okay. Uh, we'll get there. We'll for sure get there. But yeah, fellas. I guess I don't know. It's a couple places we can get there. So does again what charges stuck? Charge that stuck was the prostitution. Um, does that matter? Is this going to kind of do it? Well, yeah, we can start it there. Does the fact that the prostitution charge stick, I mean, or stuck, does it matter?
Nope.
I mean, it's just such a petty thing. I mean, why go after Diddy for just the prostitution charge? I mean, there's probably so
I
many
don't
people
think
that.
they didn't just go after him for the prostitution charge.
What I'm saying, but that's all that stuck. So I mean, it ended up wasting all taxpayers' dollars to put somebody in jail for, prostitution, and that's all what it boils down to at the end of the
Those
day. Like
raids, the extents of those,
all
and
of that,
Mm.
which they executed
putting
those raids, they
putting
really
all
thought
his
they was
business,
getting one.
putting all his business out there to be able to not get a thing, and like I ain't saying whether it's right or wrong, it's whatever, but there are so many worse things, out there to pursue. There's people that's actually out there hurting people and do something where there's two willing participants in
So
a thing. I don't
this means
understand.
that Diddy didn't hurt people and that like he's just innocent.
I'm not saying he didn't hurt anybody because, like, I'm not saying that, but there's people that actually, they're actual like predators, and I think like even
Do you think that this means that Diddy hasn't actually been a predator?
they didn't prove it with beyond a reasonable doubt. I can't say what it did, but I think
He just wasn't he just
there are
wasn't a
better things
So
to
only
go
the
after.
only way you can be a predator is if you get found guilty in court.
but they didn't even try him for that. Like that wasn't the part that they tried him for. Like what are you talking? Like,
Yo, that
No,
nigga's definitely this nigga's a lethal predator, apex predator at that. Like this nigga Diddy don't play, bro. Like
what I'm saying is there are people that are actually. Well, I guess yeah. I mean, Diddy. I ain't trying to take up for Diddy. I ain't trying to take up because everything I'm gonna say could apply to Diddy as well. So I mean, yeah, he is a predator, but I think the the public sham the public thing, there is a reason why they went after him so publicly when there's other people that are probably doing the same thing, if not worse. And I think that's the part that they're gonna have to look at. I think, them making a public mockery talking about the baby oil, that has nothing to do with him being a predator. They just trying to make him look bad. And I think that blew up in the prosecution's face.
Yeah. Ultimately, like the Cassie thing is interesting because like it seems like they tried to convince a jury that this nigga had a complete illegal enterprise simply because of like through the lens of the relationship with Cassie. Like that's a very narrow lens to try and paint like a foundation for a criminal enterprise, like a relationship between two individuals, fucking random people.
Yeah, I guess they tried with Jane Doe as well. I didn't keep up too much.
But that was like, that wasn't the main one though. Cassie
Cassie was the
star of this thing.
Yeah. I'd be interested to kind of hear. Well, I guess the jurors, they don't ever come like on the record and kind of talk through exact, because they were undecided, or what was it? I guess hung for a quick second. And then they decided that fuck it, he's good on the racketeering charge.
It sounded like they went to sleep. It sounded like they recessed at the end of the day. They had that last one to figure out. It sounded like everybody slept on it. They came in and within, a few minutes of getting there, they all, had that last one wrapped up.
Well, I think they deliberated for 2 days, right? It wasn't just like one day that they were stuck on it.
I'm talking about this morning though. Like this morning.
Yeah, this morning they definitely was. Saying all that to say, like from what they described, it does sound like he has people that he can get to do shit. But it being a full organization to do coordinated things outside of the lens of like with the woman that he's engaged with, like I don't think it seems as big as it would need to be a RICO, maybe, because like to the lens of what G was saying, like painting it all around Cassie and using that as like the main example. Like if this was like an example that you can extrapolate to like 5 or 6 other people, and I imagine a lot of people thought that we were going to get to that point where the freak off tapes was going to end up being multiple celebrities that he was extorting and things like that, in which we never actually got to see or never came to fruition. That like he was running down a bunch of different things with different people when it came down to extortion. And whether it did happen and they wasn't able to prove it or show or have like the evidence or do whatever, it just sounded like he was kind of bullying his wife, and like that just was what it was. But they didn't put him on trial for domestic violence and yeah.
And like you say, we don't know what was on them tapes, and like you say, it might have been. I wonder if it was he was blackmailing certain people. They put him up to it. And then once them same people realize, oh shit, my business gonna get out there, then they maybe some of the evidence wasn't allowed to be presented in court, because it sounds like they had a lot of evidence when they first took them in, with all the tapes and everything they were collecting. It sounded like they had like a plethora of evidence
They
dealing with a
did.
lot of different people, but we only heard a handful of people in the court case. So I imagine a lot of people either chose not to be a part of it or said they didn't want their information or their business out there.
Brother, the biggest issue for the prosecution is the fact that to really establish a RICO, you have to prove this nigga is a criminal, like, enterprise runner. Like, you have to prove that Bad Boy was like how they tried to prove YSL was a gang and they ultimately didn't quite do it. You gotta prove that this is not a legitimate quote unquote business. It is a criminal enterprise. And I just think, they tried to collect all this evidence. They used that that evidence to create stir in the public, put him on public trial, let him know he's got all this freaky shit going on. We got all this baby oil and Astroglide. Like all of that was just to affect the public opinion. But at the end of the day, those things didn't really help establish that Bad Boy was a criminal organization. It just it's not enough there. You know what I'm saying? Like just and like somebody I said in the chat, like ultimately, if paying for hoes makes you a criminal organization, every CEO in America here is going to be on a hook for a potential felony prostitution charge. I can guarantee you, because all they do is fly out escorts to service their needs.
I got a question then. So then, like, what do you think made them like if after all the evidence come down, it was, just him on some freaky stuff, like on just some personal stuff. Why do you think they went after him so
That's the
thoroughly? Do you think
question.
they were
I think
like? Do
somebody
you think
forced
they
the
were
federal government to pursue
looking
this
up
to the
to
level
him?
they did.
Like,
I think they got some pressure from somebody.
and
So, fellas, before we get too deep into it, I'm gonna try and run down the last few memes that we have and see if it draws any conversation. If not, we'll kind of run down a list of a couple questions that we have. But yeah, we're sorry.
This nigga got a top hat.
Because he was guilty. Government is who you blame if you feel that these victims didn't get justice. Because he was guilty of the domestic violence and all those things. But you know what they did? They swung for the fence and they went for a RICO.
Basically, today the jury decided that a FRICO is not a RICO.
How do you feel about the verdict today?
Very happy. I feel like justice was served. I've been to a few of his parties, and there's been nothing but generosity and positivity, and I've never seen anything negative ever.
I'm an independent journalist that had predicted this was going to be what happened. I said the RICO is weak.
Hopefully he do get some therapy. Hopefully he does get some help. Seek some help. Stay away from the D-rugs and the addiction. But my question is for the people that were complicit, that you think he was guilty, what about everybody that got supposed immunities and profit agreements and all that?
This one came across the feed. I thought that this was interesting.
Was it at Diddy's house? Not for like a party. There was another one of
this kind of trashes them a little bit. But
my homegirls that was recording something there. It was F1 weekend.
Celebrities in it.
And I texted Charlemagne. I'm like, oh my God, I'm at Diddy's place. He goes, you should go. He goes, a lot of dark energy. I want you to go.
I told Diddy.
That's
fair.
And
you was dark.
That to me was very telling. The next day, a famous Hollywood director, I told something weird that I saw in Diddy's home. And he goes, never, I never want you to go back. Two people I know. You're telling me that this man that's been on the radio for almost 30 años got that to say about this nigga? Everything that's happening to him is just. It should be happening. That video we saw, you telling me kicking on the floor? So yes, sure, he's not going to jail for beating Cassia. But if that's what I just saw, that's one piece of what I saw. I think he's a filthy, vile person. I think that the sexiness of, oh my God, come on the nipple.
Denied. So for clarity, Diddy has been in jail since he was arrested back in August of 2024. And now that the verdict has come out, his attorneys argued that he should be released today and allowed to be out on bond until he is sentenced for what he has been convicted of. Prosecutors, on the other hand, argued that Diddy should not be released out on bond, that he should remain in jail until his sentencing. And so after some people submitted some letters and gave some arguments, the judge ultimately denied the bail request. In other words, ruling that Diddy must remain incarcerated until his sentencing date. And according to the judge, that ruling is based on the fact that Diddy's own defense team admitted that he is violent. And the judge points out that even after Diddy was aware that he was being investigated by the feds, he continued to participate in violent and illegal activity. According to the judge, this behavior shows that he has a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity of violence. And so for that reason, bail is denied. Now, the judge initially set the sentencing hearing for October 3rd, but Diddy's defense team asked for it to be expedited. So the sentencing hearing could happen sooner than October 3rd, but as of now, it's set for October 3rd. What a day, child.
All right. Yeah, I guess that pretty much.
I got a question. Well, I think, like, do we think, like, based on what Diddy has done and everything he's gone through, because I mean, he's obviously lost money. He's been in jail for close to almost a year, 11 months at this point. Like, has he been in jail for long enough, or do we think, like, is this like is what happened to him? Is he think is that justice enough served? Because it seems like people do think he's a bad person. nobody's like, we might not be able to, convict him on the RICO, but like you're saying, hey, he's a violent person, he's this, he's that. So I mean, do you think everything that's happened to him, you think that's enough? Do you think he's done, he's been through enough at this point to justify the person he was? Or you think he should have more punishment?
I don't know if I have even like, I ain't gonna lie, I've seen enough to see that like a man who say is doing stuff like that on film, in terms of kicking a woman on the ground and stuff like that, I don't think anybody would, have an issue with someone getting in trouble or reprimanded for that, right? Like, I'm not really big on like how much of a sentence one should get for the stuff like that, but I do think because each charge carries up to a 10-year, and because of the way that judge responded, saying he admitted to the defense admitted to him being violent, and he continued to be violent and use force after the charges were filed, I would not be surprised if they try to give him more time than what people think he's going to get. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to be able to do time served and just go on probation, basically, like get out in the next couple of months. They can sentence up to 10 years. I don't necessarily know if they or think they'll do the full 10, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to at least just give him some time to just say, like, even though you got away with this, we still going to give you a slap on the wrist with something.
Yeah, I hear the feds, they still thirsty for whatever they can get.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the lawyers are saying, at least. Yeah, Johnny. Oh, you asked the question. What was the question again?
I was gonna say, do you think after like the verdict then came in and we know what he's guilty of, but people are still saying that doesn't mean he's not a bad person, or do you think the public kind of or not exoneration, but the public criticism of him and having to go to jail for close to a year, do you think that's been punishment enough for him, or do we think or you think people think he deserves more?
I don't know. I don't have like a very specific like emotional feeling attached to it. Like if I try and think of like how I feel across the board, I'm not like really favorable of like men beating women, and I'm just kind of like getting off of that per se. I think that whatever, like I would have to know exactly what all he actually did and like is guilty of to be like, oh, he should have gotten life, or he should have gotten 20 or 5 or 1 or whatever, right? Yeah, like I don't know, like I don't really have like a feeling on if this is like a just verdict, if how much time he served is enough for what we found out that he actually did. I don't know. It's such a weird question. I guess it's not a weird question. It's a thought provoking question, but I don't really have like a like a strong stance on it. Like I think from what I understood, he seems like a very fucked up individual. And with him being a fucked up individual and the things that he's did, I could imagine that there's probably some shit that's not put out in Front Street that's probably wild and crazy. Even like a lot of the abuse on Cassie that is confirmed, and even the lawyer didn't defend. He was like, "Hey, he ain't on trial for domestic violence." Like this figure in a woman's face is kind of a little wild, in my opinion. Yeah. And yeah, like I don't know. Like it's a tough one. Like I don't like really beating women. That probably does like lend for more than.
If he would have got out today, if he would have got out today, would it have been an injustice?
People would have been like, wow. Like if they would have let him walk out to court with those 2 felonies being found guilty, I think there would have been a lot of negative pushback. But to what Q was saying, I think that I kind of feel similar in that we've seen the documented violent history. And for me, I really don't believe in jail unless it's like violent crimes. And unfortunately for the prosecution, he wasn't found guilty of violent crimes. To me, that's just paying for willing participants to be prostitutes. That's not violent crime to me. So, if they found him guilty, for the sex trafficking, there's minimums there. I think a 15-year minimum would have been for sex trafficking, which is crazy. So that's the dilemma Johnny, is that he technically wasn't found guilty of anything violent, even though we know a nigga's violent.
That's what that's where I'm at. I'm saying like technically, I think based on the charges and what he got found, he has a case for getting out today. But I think the person who we found him out to be, even outside of just how freaky he is, but just like the kind of the narcissist and the controlling, violent person, I think people are kind of like, it feels like he's getting off, just a slap on the wrist based on the person he was. But that's my problem with like court cases. Like we weren't judging his character. It was a court case that was up there, and based on the laws and what was stated out in that court case, I don't think it was a strong case for him to be put in jail for a very long time. Even though we all might know the type of person he is, but just based on the court case. I feel like they made a very, compelling case for him to, almost walk away. And that's where I said, I'm kind of conflicted about it because, we know who he is, but it's
I
like,
guess it's hard for me to say like they just made a compelling case as much as like because will we say that if the jury
or maybe the
if the jury ruled a different way, like
I
I
think
think
they had enough for the sex trafficking, but they just it's hard. But like to be fair, the defense, like the element as to why is prostitution and not trafficking is simply because they could not prove beyond a benefit of a doubt or reasonable doubt that there was force and coercion involved. Cassie and the other Jane Doe did not do a good job of making it seem like they didn't have options or that they weren't willing participants. There's way too much cloudiness on their willingness to participate. So, even though while they participate, because like, some people are just in abusive relationships. That's why I be staying out of people's business sometimes. It's like, I don't believe in beating women, but some people stay in abusive relationships and that's their thing. They have very toxic, abusive dynamic with one another, and that's their business. It's not mine. You
some
get what I'm
people like
saying?
it. You say it like that. Some people like it. Some women get off.
Some people, I
Like
don't know if
it
they
is.
like it or they just drawn to it like a moth to a flame. You know what I'm saying? It could be trauma. It could be just unable to process. I don't know the reasons or the motives, but I think there was too much evidence to show that, hey, maybe they weren't forced. Maybe something else there. I think there's just a lot of evidence to show that.
Yeah, I think. I think there's a lot of complicity. Just outside of Diddy. That like I think people are going. I even seen. I don't know if you want to pull it up, Q, but there's a meme that was talking about even Cassie and like her complicity and like if she might even be guilty of certain things based on some of the evidence that came out and
she'd be a
her.
part of like all the sex trafficking.
Oh, she got immunity or for something. Yeah, she was the
They
one
gave
helping
her.
facilitate the prostitution and getting the hoes and setting up the freak off everything. Like she played a role for sure.
So does that does that lessen Diddy's accountability as far as like the type of person he was?
Man, it's crazy. Like I thought they had when I heard he was extorting the parents to make them take out
take out the loan.
refinance the loan and everything. I was like, oh, this nigga is coercion. This is coercion 101. Like this is force. Like, but then after that, the trial keeps going. Cassie is saying stuff like, I'm always ready for the freak off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. So, it is what it is, and that's why I say it's like, it's unfortunate that they tried to, they had enough evidence, but they didn't go with the right charges ultimately. Like something or somebody told them, no, ratchet this up, put his ass away. And I don't know why or who, but I do think honestly something's behind this.
But it almost feels to me, it almost feels like based on like the evidence we assumes there that they told him to do this, but then told him to chill out at the end because there was a better case I think you could have put up too if you really wanted to put this man out. But like they even walked back the arson. Like Kid Cudi, testified for nothing. Through at the end, they even said we're not going to use that as a predicate.
Right.
And there was domestic,
Really?
abuse things where like it almost feels like they almost let him off because or they didn't go for the in a basketball game you gotta go for that jacket. And it feels like they just played with their food and they let the case slip out their hands. And
Mhm.
uh, yeah, it's unfortunate because we know the type of guy he is. I keep on going back to that, but he didn't get proved or in the court of law to be that bad of a guy.
Gotcha. All right, so fellas, I guess if we kind of extrapolate this into just some of the topics that this conversation tends to yield. Um, First, we can start with just that they get a little accountability part, celebrity accountability. Um, why do some powerful men face consequences while others walk free? Is this like the idea of them targeting the black man? We've all heard the different versions of like the conspiracies that run with it. Do y'all think that that could be it? Or yeah, I'll leave it open ended, and y'all can kind of give me y'all POV.
I think when you get to that level of, I mean, we're talking about rare air of money when you start talking about what Diddy accomplished from a career industry perspective. Like, he is unquestionably, even music aside, just the business acumen across all the different brands and industries that he's been able to build up his wealth. So like, I feel like when you're at that table as a black person, especially, first and foremost, you're not even able to get over that hump without like permission most of these times. So for him to even get the clear runway to build that type of wealth kind of says that he was allowed to do so. If you get what I'm saying, like, because and to do that, you got to play nice. And I think he played nice up until recently. And that's just my honest opinion. I know that the thing with the Diageo, the alcohol is one thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's who pressed these charges and all that stuff. But I think over the last, he's been trying to rebrand on this black empowerment, on this love movement. Like he was seemingly making an attempt before the Cassie charges and the video drop. He was trying, like, because that Love album was fire. If we being honest, it was a solid project.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
It was a solid joint, and it was nominated for a Grammy. And he was trying to rebrand himself around this like love energy.
Yeah, he was trying to get ahead of it. Yeah. I remember this time.
That project too had that old Bad Boy sound too. Like it was bringing back like that old sort of Bad Boy R&B sound, bringing it back to the forefront. So I really think that he pissed off the wrong people who ultimately allowed him to reach this point. And so now you got to get pow to say, just to remind you.
Had to make sure he went through the gauntlet just to make sure he knew. G, you got the sound effect board over there. You got some air horns over there. All right, so I'm gonna pull up one of the favorites, an Unpacked OG. No need for an introduction. Everybody knows the guy. Alex, what's going on, brother?
Yo, what's up?
What's good, brother?
Chilling.
All right, we'll let you catch up really quickly. Give us a bit of like a good 2-minute stretch of your thoughts on where we at so far.
No, y'all good. We can just keep with the question you had about
okay.
Me personally, I think that once people get to a certain level of like fame, they just do bullshit to begin with, and then they just can't keep up with the tab of keeping it all under wraps. So I don't think it's like no conspiracy. Like I think like for as long as Diddy's been famous is pretty much as long as I've been alive. Cause I was born in the 90s. So yeah, I just think after a while, Diddy just like his proclivities got caught up to him.
Simple as that. Yeah, Johnny, did you go? Go ahead, Johnny.
Nah. I think LTO said something. She said it's about who you know. It's about like I think a lot of time, and I think having the complexion for the protection helps in certain these spaces, knowing the right people and getting the right relationships started. But then again, it's how it's what you do with those relationships, and once you get in those rooms, and I think maybe Diddy was the guy that, like you said, I don't think he was playing nice for a long time. I think people got a little got upset with him, and I don't think it's still until recently. I think like it's been uh he's been a controlling dude, and I think he was controlling powerful or trying to control and exert that power over powerful people. And I think you rub enough people the wrong way, and the tide's gonna turn against you. I think that's an
Gotcha.
example.
All right, so you use the word power. Black men power, the legal system. I guess, is this a moment of justice or attempted justice, or another example of selective prosecution? It's kind of where y'all hitting at. And I guess that would bleed into like the idea of how can we hold black celebrities accountable without feeding into like this idea of maybe over policing per se.
When you say hold them accountable, you talking about us as black people, or you talking about the government?
Like whatever accountable can, like I don't know, like if a man beat his wife, how do black people hold them accountable? Like generally speaking, hold them accountable, I imagine.
Well, I mean, I think black people do. I don't want to say too much, but I think we do a good job as far as like if there's somebody moral,
Yeah, you breaking up, Johnny.
pariah
I'm
in
interested to see
amongst
where you
black
go with
people.
this one. Say this again.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think we do a good job, like as a whole, culturally, of excluding and gatekeeping people that can be, outwardly morally against us
What makes you say that?
to
Like
to an extent.
yeah, I guess what will be your main examples of that thing? Black people being very intentional about gatekeeping negative parts of the culture and society and keeping it out the community.
I think even like with the Diddy and the Arca, well, I think especially recently we've seen where like we are, you know, more willing to stigmatize, certain folks, especially the younger we get. We're doing a real good job so far as like there's certain behaviors that aren't allowed within, that aren't, cool amongst black people, and once people get kind of accused of that, a lot of those protections go away. Even, a person like Michael Jackson and what he's done, black people even will talk about him
Do you think that
and be like,
the black community exercise how do you
Mike,
say it?
what Mike do?
Yeah, I don't
Why you talking about the king like that, brother?
they didn't disown which, like, I mean, black people didn't really disown R. Kelly until they had to.
They still haven't. What we
Yeah, a lot of black people haven't. Same, like there is the free Diddy movement also. There's like a lot of pushback. Like I was just trying to understand where you was going with like
Mike
black
Jackson
people
and
are
Diddy.
like really good at gatekeeping moral standards across the board for all people, so that we would have held whoever needed to be held accountable.
oh, maybe I misspoke. I mean, look,
I just want to see
I
what
would
you.
like to.
I don't know.
I would like to think it, but as I go through, I guess maybe that's the thing. Maybe we don't do a good job, and maybe we uphold negative, cultures, and we can look at ourselves and get a
No,
lot
I
of the
think
answers.
the black community upholds people, but I think for the most part, like from what I have seen, people pretty much are lambasting Diddy for like more so the homophobic stuff,
No
the
Diddy.
homosexual stuff more so than anything else. Like it's not like no Diddy's, no more human trafficking. It's like no Diddy, ew, you said something gay. So I don't even think like people are holding them to account in that regards, but like his stock has definitely dropped down. I think like maybe before all this popped off, like BET was like celebrating him, and then the next thing you know, poof, everything is gone. So like even though he might have been somewhat victorious in court, his career is over. Like his legacy is like shattered. Like I can't even like look at old videos with Diddy in it without being like, ugh, dang. Like, oh dang, is R. Kelly and Diddy in the same song? Like, damn. So
That's
I
a real
don't know.
freak off.
That
But
was a wild night right there, boy.
that was a wild night for
Can't
sure.
imagine that studio.
Right. But I imagine, are you saying that black people would have just did that? Us as like the general culture would have just did that without the pressure of the legal system. Like to me, even if we look at R. Kelly and a lot of these guys, it wasn't until like a literal guilty verdict had to be had, and then black people had to cope with like, man, am I still going to stream it? And then a lot of people was just still like, fuck it, I'm gonna still stream it. And like to me, I see that often, in my opinion, where if it's not like through some lens of like this person was not even just put on trial, but found guilty of all these heinous acts, and then also drugged through the mud in public opinion, and then had 1,000, hit pieces and think pieces wrote about him. Now maybe we'll start, like turning some moral judgment to it. But it seems like more times than not, we be kind of not quick. We're slow to throw away. Like if anything, we'll indulge inside like some conspiracies about like why, Bill Cosby was about to buy CBS or something like that, before we would just be like, nah, these were negative things and it's a dub because he's accused of it.
I mean, a lot of the times, like we kind of just like digesting the same media that everyone else does, but when you're black in America, you kind of have to live with two consciences of, well, this is what I believe, but this is how I'm being perceived. Mm-hmm. And whenever like Diddy, Young Thug, like Dirk are in the system, I think we have the discernment of like, all right, Dirk definitely did that shit. And then it's like, this seemed kind of funny. Like Diddy been around for years. All of a sudden this is coming up now. But then if you go look back in time, like, Mac Miller and Vince Staples was joking about it.
It's always been a trail of.
It's been a joke in the industry. It's been a joke for a long time.
Like, I remember hearing Wale getting hung over that balcony a long time ago.
Like Diddy running up on niggas, fighting them. Like,
hey, hold on. I mean, what rumors are we talking about? Did we know Diddy was gay a long time ago? Or he was just
people had those rumors too. People had those rumors too.
They had that.
Right now, like it was like Usher, Kevin Hart, Diddy.
You didn't see all those memes of him calling Meek Daddy in the swimming pool. He was like, "Come on, Daddy."
Okay. Yeah. Well, nah. It was a wild one when he grabbed Mike Tyson one time, and Mike Tyson had to lift his hand up, and I was like, "Yeah, you different, bro."
Oh, on Arsenio Hall. On Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
Like if you pressing, look, thinking to press Mike Tyson is insane. Like you got you power tripping, bro. Like he'd knock your block off. And, like you're not even scared. He's like it's different reality.
But yeah, nonetheless, it sounds like what you're talking about, like the double consciousness, feeds right back into the question where, I guess I'll ask it to y'all, Johnny G. How do we hold black celebrities accountable without feeding into the over policing of black men narrative? Or is it just like some shit that just comes with the game? Should we kind of look at it inside like the duality of like, he is a black man. This is, like we're often unjustly prosecuted, persecuted, and that's something to kind of like take in fact, or is it like cut and dry? They could do.
I think we should take example from the people who voted for our president and ask them what they think about him.
Well,
a lot of people.
I don't know.
But
an answer.
I'm just saying, like, I think that you could separate the man from the character. I think, like, especially in a capitalistic society, I think, like, if there's a product or there's something, I think that can be separated, from the person who actually created it. So I don't think, this worrying about trying to hold our celebrities accountable is we should, we're worried about that. I think that's the justice.
So we shouldn't kind of hold them accountable. Just explain.
Like how we gonna hold P Diddy? Like I don't know P Diddy. Like how we gonna hold him accountable? Because law doesn't do it.
But that's the other side of it. So then a law should do the thing, and we should. If it's like,
like you just said, the guilty conviction is usually what we'll rock with you until you get convicted. Then once you convicted, it's like okay.
So take like don't worry about over policing. Take them to trial.
I mean, like I'm not gonna over police nobody. Like, I mean, like that's what the justice system is for. Like, if if there's somebody in my life personally that's fucked up, bad moral character, of course I'm gonna stay away from. I'm not gonna deal with them. I'm gonna tell people, hey, don't rock with them. But when it comes to like celebrities, like these people are bigger than us. Like we're not gonna hold them accountable. Like even like with the music, like a lot of these people, like you, we're not even the main consumers of their music, so we can't
Okay,
even
I guess
worry
I'm
about
just trying to
it. Like,
understand. Like your answer to the question then is like, as black people, we can't hold them accountable. So like, cool with the over policing, or like
I mean,
let the justice system do what it's going to do.
I don't
like
think
outside of like the broad public
I
opinion,
don't
like
think
what can
I
you
have to
do?
hold them accountable or it's over policing. I think there's a middle ground somewhere. Like, but I don't think we have to worry about like holding, people like especially celebrities that are living lives that are nowhere near like the average black person. Like, why are we worried about holding them accountable?
Okay,
It
so
doesn't really
we
affect
shouldn't worry about, so we shouldn't hold
us.
celebrity accountable and separate the man, the music, the abuse or sexual whatever deviancy, and the actions from the man per se. That's more so what
Yeah,
you're saying, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like I think especially if they're doing something, and that's gonna nuance it, but I think like if there's a project, there's something like say like that we're benefiting, or there's he's giving jobs, people are making money, like why stop like all of that for something that we have no control over, and it's gonna, the system is gonna move no matter what. So why you
Okay,
gotta take black men out the system?
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna throw the G. I guess like I understand that. I don't know if you answered that like the second half of it, but and 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 yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid us going inside like a circular conversation. G, talk to us.
In terms of holding the celebrities accountable, I don't think we should do that. Honestly, I think we should not even care as much about the celebrities' personal lives as we do. Like, it's unfortunate that these celebrities, even though like they're successful, right? Like, you can admire somebody's success, but he's not like we shouldn't have automatically put him as a leader of our community because he was one of the most successful men in his industry, if you get what I'm saying. And I feel like that's the kind of that with our community more than others, when you reach a certain level of success, specifically in sports and entertainment, right? It's like once you hit a certain level of success there, we really glorify these people to some crazy degree and pencil them in as like leaders of the community, when in reality we shouldn't we shouldn't be so invested into them personally, in my opinion, and just appreciate what they create, the products, services they provide, and like don't make these people deities, essentially walking deities, because you you know it's more than being a fan, but it's just like because you're so into these people, it's like we don't have to invest as much time into Diddy, honestly. Like, this didn't necessarily have to be something that everybody it cares about. So like I'm thinking we don't have to do this with celebrities, generally speaking, and that will help solve a lot of it on its own, because yeah, it's not really our responsibility to be holding them accountable.
Well, kind of the reason why it happens is because I don't think black people get to choose who their avatars are in the public arena. So when Diddy's on trial, like technically everybody's on trial. Like, oh, look at like the, I guess, the pinnacle of black culture. Look what he did. And then that kind of reflects on everybody. So everyone's kind of like, damn, well, since Diddy's in trouble, I'm gonna like, oh, Diddy's gross. Oh man, we don't condone that. We don't do that here. But simultaneously, you're kind of like, damn, like what's gonna happen again? Like with whether it's Tory Lanez, DDG, Young Thug, like every black man who gets put on trial, like you kind of to some degree, it's like shit. Like I'm on trial now because like I kind of get what the audience is saying, but a lot of times when you look at the news, it's like, damn, like Hollywood's a weird place. Why do they only go hard when it's like people who look like us? Like, I'm just watching like random like videos on YouTube, and it's like I think like Watch Mojo did like top 10 songs from the 90s that kind of are cringe now. And it's like, damn, like, is this like the day to make videos about Diddy? And then like same thing with like, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard can get into wherever they get into, and then everyone gets on code like, no, that's wrong. They did Johnny Depp wrong. and then everyone understands that. But I guess it could be said maybe Johnny Depp didn't do anything as heinous, or maybe like they really couldn't do too much.
But didn't he lose like the Pirates? Like what? Like he lost some jobs and like was looked at as shitty until the trial actually started happening, and then they found out, and then like because at first it did hit hard, and everybody
Johnny Depp a legend for that one.
it hit hard, and like he lost opportunities, lost jobs, and then it came out in the trial as the trial was getting you know what I mean, I guess I don't know if it was like live footage or live, you know, reported, I guess you could say that, oh, she's just a crazy motherfucker. And but before then the idea was that Johnny Depp was kind of fucked up.
Well, he lost a case in like England.
Wasn't she an actor? She was an actor too, right? Though.
Yeah.
I think that was more of it. It wasn't like no, you know, random person. But I think like what Alex was saying. I think an important thing is like the pedestal we put people on, or like we idolize these certain people, and I don't think we should do that. Also, I think that would help on the back end. Like we don't idolize these people who we don't know nothing about. We don't know their character. We don't know what type of people it is. Then when they do the fucked up shit and who they really are, we don't feel the need to have to hold them accountable. And I think it's like what Alex was saying. Like it is something that white people don't deal with. But like when it's one of us on trial, like it's all of us on trial. But like when a white dude's on trial for doing something fucked up, white people ain't on trial. It's just that one white dude. And I think that's the problem with like black people, where it's like we have.
So y'all felt y'all was on trial with Diddy?
Not necessarily with Diddy. I think that's another thing too.
Or
like,
Tory?
I think there was like I think it's kind of a testament to like the black community where like
for sure.
we do hold our own accountable, because like I think the way Jonathan Majors got treated and the way Diddy got treated, it was like I think Jonathan Majors like, come on, man, you know we can't do that. And then Diddy's like, oh shit, like stay over there. So
explain that a little bit more so I can understand.
So like when Jonathan Majors got like, what was he like?
He was running from a white girl.
Yeah, but then he ripped the phone away, broke her finger type shit. So like I think all of us was like, yeah, homeboy lost his stuff, but like if Jonathan Majors get his act together, I'll watch another Jonathan Majors movie. Like that's not too bad for me. But
oh yeah, well the degree of what he did wasn't close to what Diddy did.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think we can kind of like decipher like, okay, Jonathan Majors getting in trouble and having a little scuffle isn't the same as Diddy. Shannon Sharp doing weird shit isn't the same as the weird shit that Diddy does. Like I think it's like there's like a spectrum of, all right, bro, tighten up, and like, oh shit, you're radioactive. You stay over there. So like I can at least say that about our community. I can't speak for everybody else. Like I think there's a benefit of, I think there's murky places like Bill Cosby, where if you're talking to your aunties and uncles, like they're like, he ain't do that shit. How you gonna get all them women to take them pills if they ain't want to? Like you'll hear that around your aunties and them, but it's like, yeah, I hear you, but he a little bit more on the radioactive side. But like you hear like I don't know. I think there's more like Usher, for example, when like that big girl and that one lawyer came out of nowhere and like Usher gave me the package, and then like I think everyone's like, okay,
oh that thing.
Yeah, like I think
everybody forgot about it because the lawsuit didn't happen.
Yeah, but like,
think about it, like if the lawsuit, everybody forget when he was giving out herpes.
Oh,
so you forgot about it until just now. That shit went away.
Hey, you be handing out cherries?
Yeah, he just giving out them cherries. Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of cherries, boy.
Allegedly, my bad. Allegedly,
yeah.
Allegedly. She said that they paid him off. I don't know. Maybe he did pay him off. But I don't know. Again, just to play fair devil's advocate. I think that Weinstein, Epstein, like there's the same level of like the people that are supposedly at that level of coercion, extortion, even like you start using the P words and stuff like that. Like they exile him. I think what was like it was Louis C.K. I don't know if he's even recovered.
I think he's going back on tour right now, actually.
Like, but is he like so? It's took
he's still regarded as Louis C.K.
well, Louis C.K. he might be about to like rev back up, but he was Louis C.K. Like, but
he was just beating his meat. He was just beating his meat. He won't hurt people,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, but my point is,
wild sentence.
no, again, I understand what you're saying. What I'm telling you is that to Alex's point, like other groups exiled theirs as well. Like you said, he was beating his meat beside a woman, maybe
like rich man shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I don't think that she knew he was about to do it, and he just said, "Fuck it, I'll do it live." And like they kind of canceled Cuz for it. Like they just got him up out the paint for about a good 5-6 years. Like he about to rev up again, but this was like pre-pandemic, like 2017, 18.
Yeah, but they don't always do it because there was a Rolling Stone member. He was messing with like a 14, 15-year-old girl and ended up marrying her, and like so nobody else.
That was back in the day, bro. Like,
yeah, I say so. The Karl Malone, nobody was thinking about it, and then now everybody's like, "That's kind of crazy."
Yeah, that's true. It's one for one. That's one for one. I'm gonna do it.
All right. Before we get into like some Me Too talk, and if like what does this mean for that? Like putting the magnifying glass over the hip hop community. Fat Joe, he got one of them cases.
He got one. Yeah.
It's looking like it might be about to drop. Where he got the 14-year-old girl, whole little thing. He also has the angle of like forcing his workers to do sexual acts, or he gonna leave them inside countries and different things like that. Again, there's like there's a bunch of different versions of, like Hollywood has had their moment where a lot of the deviant and exploitative behavior has been kind of quote unquote exposed. Is this the tipping of a possible, for lack of better words, like a Me Too movement push inside the hip hop community?
Nah, because I don't think because I think the motivations for this one was different.
Fat Joe was a man that's suing him for this. I think it's a man, not a woman.
Yeah, no, it's a man that's but he's saying that he was forced to do sexual acts.
Yeah,
and then he also is like accusing him of pedophilia and having like the records for that and different things like that.
I mean, I don't know if that's gonna lead to, because that's I haven't heard much about the Fat Joe one, because it seems like that's a wild one, and so maybe I don't know how much substance there, because I haven't heard of it.
But I guess I'm just saying, how many skeletons are left? And like people started digging up the lyrics of like mad old or younger songs, older songs, where in the 90s the rappers was just rapping about
anything.
Right, that's the easy way to put it. Yeah, they was going to this 6-year-old high school, and they was going to wait till that girl turned 17, and then it was a bunch of different little things, and like they was just like throwing. You can go to the 80s too, like the rappers of a time was maybe it was indicative of the time because of like we all hear the trope of the older guy pulling up at the high school, and this was almost an accepted practice or whatever, or like the young choir member with the drummer from the band or whatever. I don't know, like does hip hop have some skeletons that's waiting to rear its head, and is this the first step to some of those being put out?
Yeah, it's
Vita and Belly, that's another good one.
I think it's one of those things where it's like a perfect storm of like the economy is doing terrible, and then like we're at the height of like social media. So like I feel like this is like a recession indicator. Like whenever you hear all these old stories getting dug up, I think people got bills to pay. And it's like, oh yeah, I was at one of them parties. Like, yeah, what's his name was like there. And because like even like with that one Jay-Z
opportunity.
Yeah, like that one girl who said Jay-Z did something to her, come to find out like his
Jay-Z
concert was like in like 3 states completely different from hers. So like honestly, I think after a while people get to the point where like, oh yeah, I definitely want to cash in, and then they'll drum up anything to kind of get their money up, kind of like the Shannon Sharp situation where like homegirl wanted like 20 million, just for being there. and then that kind of blew up
Offered
in her
10
face.
million or something like that.
Yeah, she wanted a big, a big check.
Bigger
But
check.
like, I think maybe I'm cynical about it, but a lot of the times, like, I think this stuff like Diddy sticks because it's like you see the video of him beating up Cassie, but like, there's so many other like situations where like people have publicists and body catchers and all this stuff, and like they'll like buy a story just to bury it or get the right shit so no one else can talk about it. Like, I think that goes on all the time. But I think whenever people kind of like the money's slowing up, the opportunity's slowing up, like the shows ain't hitting like how they used to, their name's not relevant no more. All of a sudden now, like, oh yeah, I was at a party in 1980, and like during that party, everyone did X or Y or Z, and now people just kind of like retelling it. Like, if they don't sue them civilly, they write a book about it. But
so I guess is that you saying all that to say that you don't think that hip hop has its skeletons and that there's some verifiable fuck shit that might come up. Like, for example, what's his name? Russell Simmons. Like, he in Bali. He went somewhere where he can't get extradited to.
Yeah.
As soon as Me Too hit, he was like, oh shit. Like, let me get out of here, get safe, and get like low because of who knows what might come out about my past. Do you think he's like an isolated person in doing that? Or is that like something that it was just him and R. Kelly and Diddy?
No, we about to see mad lawsuits because it's just too much money that went out. Like, when Cassie got that settlement, it's like, oh, okay. Like, we don't even have to go to court technically.
And I guess
criminally.
I'm asking, like, is it baseless extortion or is it skeletons inside hip hop?
I think it's gonna be both.
I think.
But I think the issue is though what's gonna happen is the more and more it comes out and the more people get beaten, the more and more like we look into the Cassie thing. He paid her off, and then the criminal trial came out, and we looked into it, and we was like, oh, it was a lot of complicity that went on in this situation, and it makes you look at it a little different. And
I think he paid her
think
off
the
for like
more-
the abuse and shit like that.
Yeah, like I think.
But I mean, I think it goes. But I think what's going. But I think what's going to happen. The more it happens, the more that like. I mean, everybody got like one out now. I think like there's going to be so many times where it gets written off that like you can't sue everybody for you can't sue everybody for everything that was ever done. I think eventually there's going to be statute of limitations that get put up and different things like that that are going to make it like a lot harder for everybody to come out with these stories of, oh, this happened to me in the past, this happened to me, especially when some of them are, being proved just to be money grabs. It's a waste of, taxpayer dollars to try to, pursue every single one of them. So I think you're going to have to, come with a lot more evidence. You're going to have, the precedent is going to be set a lot higher to get, to prove a lot of these cases moving forward.
Oh,
I
damn,
agree.
what about Tyler Perry?
Because like, I mean, like, let's just like take it outside the realm of like legit violent sexual crimes. Like, even Lizzo, like the
she
tour.
does?
Yeah, like she went.
Oh,
to
you
the
talking about
club.
when she got sued by her?
Yeah,
so-
it's like after a while, like once the money slow up, people get fired. All of a sudden now, like, oh yeah, I remember that one time we went to the strip club. Yeah, I was under duress when I was there. So after a while, like I think this is going to happen a lot more because I think when celebrities are getting sued out the wazoo everywhere, here, there you look, I think that's a recession indicator. Like Will Smith making music, like.
Well, he smacked himself out of his money, so that's his own doing.
I don't know. They saying that the Trump tariffs are working now. The economy about to be back booming. We'll see.
With the lawsuits, one thing that's impacting these lawsuits that we not really talking about. When Johnny mentioned statute of limitations, I took a look specifically in New York. As of November 2023, they have something called the New York Adult Survivors Act. So that was November 2023, and it removed period. So regardless of the time passed, if it's related to a sexual act, you could bring the shit up. So seeing how so much entertainment business is in New York, and you can bring shit up from the 70s, 60s, The 50.
The
I mean, like
80s was a wild
these
time.
executives been around for a long time in these industries too.
But
So
I'm saying, but like, how much of this stuff can be proven? Like, how can you go
that's
back? Like,
fair. That's fair.
we
It don't
That's
just,
even
we
gotta
fair.
be
just saw
proven
like a Diddy.
sometimes.
That's
Like,
why
how can you? But you have to in court. If I got a good enough lawyer, and you're doing that, and my lawyer said without a reasonable doubt, and you ain't got no text messages, no nothing. It's just
but you know what,
my
Johnny,
word versus your word. How can you prove it?
when I'm suing you, I don't need proof. All I need to do is just go down and file the lawsuit, put what my claim is in the lawsuit. That's going to be public record. And then TMZ is going to get, oh, such and such, Johnny P
But see,
sued with another such and such. Here's what he's
but
alleged to
then,
do.
but then now, are we trusting every allegation now? Is that weaken
Bro,
the
that Johnny,
word
that's not how
of
No,
money
no,
people?
works.
look,
Yeah,
I
like Johnny,
agree.
if I just hired you and like it's publicly known, we just gave you $1 million, and then all of a sudden there's a story that comes out that you did some heinous shit. Like, bro, I don't give a fuck about what the trial says. Like, you're radioactive. I'm taking my money back. Like, this deal is over. That's how it works nowadays. It doesn't have to go to court. All it takes is someone saying this and it being slightly credible, and that's
I
enough
get
to
it,
ruin your career.
but what I'm saying is, how do we combat like the money grab and the
You
extortion?
can't.
Then
You can't.
if that's and then like how do we separate her? Then like so if somebody says something, who do we believe? If it's just I like this person
I
more than I
think
like that person, or
I
I
think
like this person.
whether celebrities know it or not, like
How,
unless you moving
how does it?
like Keanu Reeves, like you're actively putting on a public image of like I don't touch women, I'll hug them like this, like like I am 100% out the way. I show up, do my job, go home. I'm not around all these weirdos. Like unless you're doing that, someone's gonna find a story about you. It's just a matter of time.
So what you say? There's nothing we can do. So just if we get enough
No,
money,
Johnny, look,
somebody
you
will
got to
expose
protect
you.
yourself only thing you can do is as the celebrity is cross your T's and dot your I's, man. You just can't. You got to watch what you text. You got to keep your receipts, and you got to make these hoes sign the paperwork. What Chappelle say? Anal? Yes, please. He was like, you can make them sign a thing. Like you got to come up with them contracts.
Got to be J. Cole. Ride bikes and apologize when necessary.
Yep. Stay out the way.
But I'm saying, but like that
Derek
don't even.
Jeter made everybody sign or NDAs when he had gatherings and took cell
But I'm saying,
phones. You just
but
gotta keep it
sometimes
tight.
that don't even work though, because like they gave Bill Clinton, not Bill Clinton, but Bill Cosby, they gave him immunity, and they went back and tried to put
So,
him in jail.
so speaking about NDAs, I got two questions lined up with the NDA, role of money, silence, and NDA culture. Again, kind of hitting on different parts of. Obviously, we know what the verdict is now, but it's two parts. So I'll give y'all both questions, and we can attack one. So how many victims stay silent because of, like you said, the Derek Jeter NDAs, the Diddy, Jay-Z, whoever else you want to put in there, the NDAs, and is from the Cassies to a couple other people that's broken NDAs recently. Is the NDA era dying? So I guess we could start with how many victims do you think stay silent because of the NDA settlements and the threats?
Yeah, if it's illegal, then the NDA doesn't stand. So technically speaking, I don't think there's a lot of people who sign those NDAs.
So it's usually like just image based things. Like Shannon Sharp was trying to get shit because it killed this image, not that he was doing something illegal.
Right. It's just to control your brand, make sure you control the narrative. But like if I sign an NDA with you and I'm like, and then I go buy a brick of cocaine, it's like, nah, bro, you can't keep that under that. You can't be like, no, we signed an NDA. You can't snitch. Like it just doesn't work that way.
I didn't know that. Okay. I'm learning.
I guess it really depends on the law, like, and where you are, who your lawyer is, and what you can prove in court. But I think maybe back in the day, like, I think like they were really moving like wild boys. Like, I think they just show up, do the show, do whatever they want afterwards, and then like, I'm like, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I'm so and so. But nowadays, it's like, unless you're moving like you got some sense, like you stay out the way. You Kendrick Lamar making some bikes in Long Beach, and then you pop out making music, then you go back home. It's just a matter of time. Like even like Kai Cenat, like his homeboy did something with somebody, and that's enough to get his name tarnished. So
Casa not name tarnished.
yeah, like it was like one young lady was at one of their house parties, and the
I think Kai's still going up. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, but like this almost to
Keep the
a
stream.
month. He kind of
hard.
had to tighten up afterwards. But like a young lady was at the party, this man took advantage of her, and then boom, it's
you talking about like that was like the whole AMP crew though, right? But I guess like he's attached to them, so
no, it was this something different.
Can I? Hey,
This is newer. I remember it was like a thing back in like
a few years ago, but yeah, it was like he was like on stream crying and like, man, like y'all messing up my brand. Like I'm not trying to move like this, but yeah,
we talking about the same thing. Yeah.
Let me make a correction real quick. Because with that New York Survivors Act thing, it actually was effective for a window of time from November 2022 to November 2023, and that because they opened up that 1 year window where there was no statute of limitations, it led to Bill Cosby, Cuomo, and Diddy.
Oh yeah, they did quit Cuomo.
Well, I'll say this. I think the NDA era should end because, like, I mean, if we're talking about predators and sexual deviant people, like, going after them for money is cool, but like, I think we're seeing a place where a lot of people are just getting exploited for money, and people aren't going to jail, and it's allowing people to just pay their way out of it. I think like people should like if there's illegal stuff done, I think you should have to send them to jail first, or have to be convicted criminally before you can sue them civilly. I think a lot of these civil lawsuits that come before the criminal conviction, I think it's what gets messed up. I think we see a lot of people are kind of I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but you've seen people try to exploit that system, and you get where like a lot of victims, a lot of people don't get put in jail for doing actually illegal shit because they're paying their way out. So I think they should have a system where the civil case comes after the criminal case. You have to get them, a criminal conviction, put them in jail, then you can, go after the assets. But if you just taking somebody money and not trying to put them in jail, what good does that do to society? It only benefits you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, restitution is restitution, I guess.
Which I get where you hear that. We'll get back there. So you did use the P word. You said predator. I think G, you called him an apex predator. Alex, did you look at Diddy as a predator before I kind of drop your name into that hat?
Predator.
Like he has
there's no other way. Like someone who pretty much preys on people, like he's in a position of power, and he's using that against people to kind of put them in compromising and like intimidating them. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So this would probably be walking down like 3 parts, but knowing what we know now, we all said predator. Should it be free Diddy? Hashtag free Diddy. Should that be something that we should be getting behind and supporting? I've seen it. There's the free Diddy movement. His son dropped the tape, free Diddy. Kanye, he on timing too.
A-Black probably sleeping in his Sean John shirt right now.
Yeah. Free Diddy. Is that like that we should? I know we said that we shouldn't be holding people accountable. But should this be something that we should be getting behind?
I think it goes back to my original or one of my questions. It's like, do we think he's done served his time? Like, I think if he's done enough time, I think like of course he's done something wrong. He's been convicted. Now, like what happens is there's a just, punishment for it. And I think, whatever we consider a just punishment, I think if he's done that, then he shouldn't be, held. I don't think he deserves life for whatever he's done. So if he's had a just, punishment, he's been in jail long enough, you should let him go.
So no, you're saying that it should be hashtag free Diddy. Like we should be like running with hashtags free Diddy and all that.
No, I don't know. I'll wait till the judge. I'll wait till the judge sentences him, and then we'll see how long he should be in jail. But like, I think he's committed a crime. So
if the judge sentences him to 15 years, let's just say 15 years, is it free Diddy?
I would think that'd be free Diddy because the maximum on him I think is 10 years. So
they're trying to get him. The prosecution is asking to do consecutive sentences, so he'll do 10 and then 10. They're trying to get him for 20.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be fair.
That's
I
gonna
don't
be
think. Like,
crazy.
I don't think that'll be. That's what I think it should come down to the
I
sentencing. I
would
think
even
if they do
say
something
free
like
Diddy
that,
if he get
that's
20 years. I
that's
ain't gonna
not
lie
that's
to
Pretty,
you.
not fair.
If he
knowing
get 20
everything
That's,
that
years,
was
that's,
okay.
yeah, that's. But now I also don't think he should like. I also don't think he should be out of jail tonight. So I'm not like free Diddy right now. I'm not one of those guys. I
So if they
think
gave him
he got
life
some.
or 20 years, you'll be like free Diddy.
what if they make
Well,
him
I
run the
think
full
But
sentence concurrently, just the 10
yeah,
years?
so 10 years is it free Diddy?
Not
Are we
just the
going like
10. 10 is a
10 years. I don't think it should be 10, man. I think maybe 2 to 3, or 1 to 3. I think would be a just penalty for what he did.
with time served. So like 1 to 3, and maybe he already been in
Yeah,
there a year. So maybe he got
yeah.
like
all right, but nonetheless, you're saying that you're cool with the culture getting behind a free Diddy movement.
If he's sentenced for too long, but if he
All right, so you
that's
are
what I'm saying.
for like the culture getting behind, like not
Not
holding him
currently.
accountable, but
Not
getting behind
currently. He
like
should be no. He
a
should be
free
in
Diddy
jail
movement.
tonight. No, not right now. I'm not with it right now. He should be in jail right now. He should stay in
But
jail.
like
I'm
generally
with it.
speaking, like let's just like we could give like the 5 to 10 years. Like if he's said to just be in jail, like he's going to serve time. You're you're not with like any version of accountability, but you are with like a free Diddy campaign.
No. I think he should serve his sentence, and then like if it's a fair sentence, like I just said, we should wait. I said wait till the sentence.
But generally speaking,
Like he should
you're not with a free Diddy.
if he gets any more than like 5 years, I think he shouldn't get sentenced more to 5 years. I think he should do about 2 to 3 years in jail, and
All
if
right,
it's more than that, yeah.
all right. Alex, talk to me. Should it be hashtag free Diddy?
Nah, we gotta reserve free hashtag free whoever for like I don't know political like activists or like people who doing stuff in the community, not necessarily like the most successful black capitalists because quite honestly, like just using class consciousness, like I don't necessarily think that what's in Diddy's best interest is in my best interest. So no, not free Diddy, but like someone out there doing like like hard work in the community, organizing, trying to like run for office or like especially in like today's current times, like where being a political like prisoner is more plausible than ever before. I think that should be reserved for them. Like if you want to say like free Diddy, that's like of your own free will and volition. Maybe you saw something in the court case, no different than the 9 jurors who saw him innocent of the things that were presented to them. Like you have that right. Like if you feel like, hey, like these charges don't make any sense. I don't think he did it based upon the preponderance of the evidence. Like, no, yeah, say it all you
More
want,
than
but like,
5 to 3 years, right, Johnny? My bad. Keep going, Alex. Okay.
yeah, but like I'm just saying, like in the same way I want to say free Melly based upon what I know. I want to say free Diddy. I'm not going to say free Dirk. I'm not going to say free whatever other person is done like it.
Wait. You want to say free Melly?
No, I won't. I wouldn't.
Okay.
Because like if I was a juror on that, like if I was a juror and it was like the power was like vested in me to like, all right, did he commit these crimes? Is he guilty of it? Like I'll be like, damn, based upon what I see, nah, don't free Melly. Like he should be convicted. And I think everyone should kind of take that. Like if you were the other juror, how would you like play it out? And I think based upon public opinion, I think everyone, like if they were the other juror, like I don't think they would be lenient on Diddy because like based upon what we saw in that video with him and Cassie, based upon what we heard in the court, like it's very hard to say that with a straight face unless you're just like a born like contrarian who just wants to be different. But like, yeah, for a healthier society, we can't be saying free everybody. Like free people who like are, especially for black men who are like the most exonerated group of like individuals in America because we're so likely to be put in bondage in the first place. So like, say you freeze to like people who deserve them.
G hashtag free Diddy. Is this something that the culture should be getting behind? Yeah. What's your thoughts? You're muted.
I don't think they should get behind it by default. Similar to what Alex said in that, like, if so like when everything started, and the tape came out and the footage was out and there was this clear evidence of a violent history and stuff like that, I think, those acts are, acts that I could see, deserving punishment. And what so when the trial was happening and I was looking at all the facts and stuff, like, okay, he blow up my boy Cuddy car, hang nigga over a balcony, like all these things that in theory are violent crimes, but those weren't the crimes he was necessarily charged with. The arson thing he was, but they didn't have enough there. So I think there's some evidence to suggest that he's done some bad things. So I wouldn't say, like, based off of his character, we should be saying free Diddy, but I will admit, based on the sentencing, it's going to tell me if this is really a conspiracy. Because, as I said, I think given the level of charges they tried to put on him, this was very intentional. Like, somebody pushed the feds to pursue it at this level. The fact that they got the 2 prostitution charges that carry 10-year maximums and are asking for consecutive sentences for 20 years. If he gets anything close to 10 years, I'm going to be very skeptical of a conspiracy. And if he gets the full consecutive, it's a full conspiracy. And on that basis, it's like, I'm saying free Diddy, because this is not about him and his character and the criminality of it. It's something completely different, because at the end of the day, what he was charged with and found guilty of is not a 20-year crime. That's the bottom line. So it's like, what was he actually found guilty of? We know what was proven in court of what actually happened in certain instances, despicable, violent, etc. But that's not what he was found guilty of. So by the letter of the law, no person deserves to have that unfair punishment by the letter. It's like, if I'm guilty of a speeding ticket, just give me my ticket. Don't escalate this to something unnecessary. So I really want to see how they handle these quote unquote maximum.
If he gets the 20, you're saying free Diddy to just get 10 years to where it's just? Or are you saying if they give him the 20, even with everything we know now, fuck it, free him?
Yeah. No, he does not deserve 20 years for those 2 charges. Period.
But are you saying? All right, I guess I'm gonna try and keep us moving, because I feel like we'll circle for a second. But I guess, like, to me, if I'm drawing back to kind of what we've set as a precedent in the conversation already, if we're not looking to hold entertainers accountable for the things that they do that are like negligent, negative, criminal, XYZ, should we be looking to give them reprieve and support?
In my opinion, it's not so much about them, it's about setting a precedent. Like, because that's how this stuff works. So it's like, legally speaking, I don't think it's healthy just legally. If the activist community is gonna protest something, it shouldn't just be because it's Diddy. It should be because no man deserves 20 years for hiring some prostitutes.
All right, so let's just
willingly
let's just do that. Like, it goes with whatever the sentencing guideline is. We'll move it to 7. So that they don't even go like for the full maximum. We'll just put it, he does 7 years. So then we can just keep it inside like a bit of, like, it doesn't have to be if they try to like double through the book on him. But like, if we're just speaking generally, like, he gets sentenced for what the crime kind of like states. Is this something that, if we're saying that we shouldn't hold entertainers accountable and really care for like their criminality, should we care and give them reprieve? If, knowing what we know now, should we give them reprieve, give them any support when it comes down to the other side of it? Because to me, it sounds like it's like if you're not going to do one, you shouldn't do the other. If we're just going with what we kind of said as a standard early on, I don't know, what's your thoughts?
So you're saying, like, if we don't hold them accountable, then we shouldn't care what they get?
If that's
Like,
if that's the standard that we're setting, to me, those sound like they kind of go hand in hand. Like
I don't
if I'm
see
not
them
like,
hand in hand.
like to me, if
But hold on.
I don't,
Hey, hold on.
I don't care with what you did, then
I'm with that.
yeah, like to me, like I don't care what you like what's happening.
It's the
Yeah,
legal
But see, but
system, though.
but yeah,
but
G, that's what I was gonna get to.
but that would be like the, but then wouldn't you use that same argument for the accountability part?
No.
Like
No,
if
No,
so
it's
if
different because my thing is like you
if
get sentenced.
like if somebody doing like if we just use the example of like I don't know whatever like a crime is arson, we'll just use arson, right? Like burning people's houses down. If there's an entertainer that is doing arson, committing arson, like he just burning down Beverly Hills, he's starting the Hollywood fires, he's that guy. According to y'all, we shouldn't care that he's doing it. We shouldn't look to hold him accountable on inside like any cultural thing, and whatever he kind of gets, he gets. Like if he gets away with it, that's cool. If like the legal system kind of throws the book at him, like to me, when we say like accountability, we as a culture, we shouldn't look to hold them accountable, and we should separate that person from whatever their thing is. To me, like that would all kind of go inside that same bucket of things. So if okay.
But I think because adjustability can be just. That's why I was gonna say, what's the sentence gonna be? Because we can we can understand that hey, you do
Like,
whatever you do.
like what he's charged for and what we have the evidence for. Like we're saying,
And like I'm saying,
we be saying free Diddy now.
no, like I mean that's that's the thing. But I'm saying if it's an unjust accountability, and then like that's what I'm saying. We should be able to hold the justice system accountable.
Yeah, it's more in the
It should be
justice
fair
system
across
than
the
the
board.
individual.
We should demand that. And so like if somebody's getting treated unfairly in the justice system, then we should be able to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And even from the prosecution, it's like, why are you even?
So then let me ask you this: what if an entertainer is terrorizing the black community and people in the black community? Should we not look to hold them accountable?
But like that's what like okay, so like one thing that the black community does collectively, like every 2 years, hell, even every year almost, we vote. We vote. I think LTL said it like we vote for judges, we vote for like sheriffs, we vote for everything. So like the laws and that we want enacted in our community to some degree are informed and enforced by us. Now, as far as celebrities, like we individually, there's not much I can do to hold Diddy accountable. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not listening to his music no more. I mean, I already wasn't, but like, I think that's the problem.
Wouldn't the same thing be said for like putting up a hashtag free Diddy?
Now,
like neither one of them moved the needle at all. And again, like we're not saying that he's like let's just say he got sentenced fairly for what he got convicted of.
Yeah,
we're just saying 7 years. That's what we said. Like let's just say 7 years.
Like that's like your question is kind of like on the basis of like we as a black community collectively need to do something, but like it's not honest to do any extrajudicial things to like celebrities who get out of line.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that we should. I guess what I'm saying is that if we're saying that it doesn't matter, should it not matter across the board then?
But
like especially if we're not saying that he like something like of course if
I think people should speak up when
we're saying like a travesty didn't happen, like they didn't try and give him 20, they just gave him like a regular sentence for what he was convicted of. It seems like the evidence shows that he kind of did that thing. Should it be that we be right?
That's the thing. Like what you're saying is like in both instances, people are speaking up when they assume an injustice is going to happen. Like if I go into your house and burn it down, that's an injustice enacted upon you. If like I'm walking down the street and jaywalking and I get 50 years, that's an injustice enacted upon me. So I think the black community in both instances is like, hey, an injustice is happening here. I think we all can kind of like, well, Diddy isn't the most like, I don't know. Let's say like they give like Diddy the death sentence. I think everyone will be like, all right, like, yeah, he's not the most like sympathetic, I don't know, victim of the justice system, but like you don't give someone like a death sentence for prostitution, essentially. I think everyone
fair. I think that's fair. And if I was to because it maybe I think that there's a lot of holes inside the example that I use, but if we just use Diddy, it makes it a lot easier. So with Diddy, if like inside the idea of like holding him accountable. If we're saying that we shouldn't care to hold him accountable for what he was accused of, and then also it doesn't look like he's getting trumped up charges so far. Like they dismissed the things that we said would kind of be a little shaky, like the racketeering XYZ, the things that seemed like he kind of did do and they could prove. It's proven. If we're saying that we shouldn't be looking to hold him accountable as a community, should we also, being that it seems like everybody kind of agrees that what he's got charged for seems like he did, should we be saying free Diddy also?
So
like we're saying,
so can we so like holding him accountable to me doesn't equate to him getting charged either, right? So like when you say like as a,
I think you said that we shouldn't care to hold celebrity accountable anyway.
So but what I'm saying is, even if I did think we should, I don't think that then means we press charges as a community. You get what I'm saying? Like pressing charges is a legal system thing, and holding celebrities accountable is separate to me. And so like the way that I see it, the way that I see it separate. The way that I see it separate is, if in terms of holding him accountable to those actions, I don't think that that's say our duty, because that's not something that's really it's not going to have an impact on the public, because the public holds him accountable. When you go through your due process, though, however, of whatever you get charged with, you go through a process. Was the process just? Was it fair? Did it seem like a reasonable thing? And I think, celebrity or not, if we see extreme sentences being levied based off of who's guilty,
but right, do we
has
look
nothing to do with holding somebody accountable. That's about speaking to the,
do we look at Diddy's
system?
But do we look at Diddy's sentencing as extreme? So we're not saying that it
hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet.
All right. So what he's been convicted of, does it look like?
I will say this: the beginning of the case was a little extreme in how public they were, and I think there were some extremities to how they even handled the case in the beginning. All the charges they tried to throw, you saw most of them didn't even stick. So I mean, you couldn't argue that there was some extreme treatment in even like the kind of public scrutiny to put them through in the beginning and releasing certain things to the public to make them look bad. You could say that there's some unfair treatment in, you know, how it started.
Oh, so all right. So y'all believe that's interesting. So do y'all? I guess I'll just pose the question before I go off assumption. Do y'all agree with Johnny that like this was like the Diddy, all of this was extreme exploitation of Diddy and was like extreme dealing with him, like generally speaking?
They drug him through the fire.
It was extreme to where like we need to take up for Diddy.
I don't know if we necessarily need to take up based off, because at the end of the day, any prosecutor is going to try to muddy the water. What they did with Diddy in terms of like that tape getting leaked and all these other things to ruin his public image, at the end of the day, I don't think that those are things we need to save him from. Once those charges were filed, I think every person deserves a fair trial and like a fair process in court. That's just
right. But Diddy said that he felt like he had a fair trial.
I bet he does today.
But I guess before this, he said that he felt like the judge had been fair. That's what like if we're avoiding like going to extremes of and like just going with what has happened. But it sounds like now it's the idea is like we shouldn't hold him accountable, but we should defend Diddy.
Based on the sentencing is like, and it's not about defending Diddy. It's more so just about
any sentencing. So like, is it free Diddy? Like, I guess I'm trying to understand.
Like, it's
not free Diddy.
If he gets mistreated with the sentencing, I would say he was mistreated. But if, like Johnny said, if he ends up getting sentenced 1 to 3 years, I don't think it's going to be.
If he gets 7 years, I keep trying to like.
Honestly, 7 years is going to be. I'm gonna be perplexed. I'm gonna be like, I think 7 is a lot.
And so then it's like just free him.
I think I don't think he deserves 7 years. I don't think any man deserves 7 years for willingly participating prostitutes. 7 years.
I mean, I guess we're gonna have to see what happens in so.
Like,
but hey, Q, can I ask you a question? Do you think if somebody's burning down houses, whether you're convicted of it or not, if you get convicted of something else, do you think that should weigh into how much you get convicted
I'm not gonna care
or how
about.
long your sentence
I'm not
is?
gonna care about what you got convicted for. Me personally, if you was
So
burning down the houses,
hold up, but Q. So if you got convicted for burglary on a neighborhood over, and they didn't catch you burning the house on the other neighborhood, but they got you on this burglary.
Okay.
But they suspected you with the house, but they didn't prove it was you in the house. You just got convicted of burglary. You saying you still gonna give a nigga a sentence because he burned those houses?
Well, you don't care if he get extra time.
My bad. Like keep it. It sounds like you kind of like changed the person inside the scenario.
Like you're essentially being charged for a crime that they think you might have done.
That they didn't prove you did. Just as one you did, they didn't prove it. You got charged with burglary and arson, but you only got found guilty of burglary.
I mean, they kind of proved he did. To be fair,
They dropped the charges. They dropped the charges. He was found. That's what I'm saying. Legally, he was found guilty of two charges.
But there is like sentencing guidelines. So if I'm now getting charged within the sentencing guidelines that exist for what I did, like there's not anything unjust happening.
I think there's an argument to be made because the fact that there's a 10-year minimum or 10-year maximum for prostitution, we need to fix this immediately. Nobody should be doing federal time.
But now, like that's a completely different question than what you just asked.
No, I see what you said. Like I see what you said. Like, hey, if he get 10 years, anything over.
You got to say it.
Like, I get what you said. Like.
Johnny, your Wi-Fi broke up for a quick second. Go ahead and say it again.
Oh no, I was gonna say anything. Like I feel what you're saying though. Like I mean, the guidelines are like, even if they hit him with the maximum, that's still fair. Like, cause that's what the law says, and I'm with that. Like,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that statement. I don't agree with that statement
as well. So,
but that's what the law says. You don't agree with the law. It's not about what.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree that it's fair because it's within the bounds of the law. That's not something I personally agree with.
Yeah, that's like discrepancy in sentencing. So.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Like that then becomes like a different
because then make it because it's like why like think about that, right? The one charge. You can have a minimum, there's no minimum sentence, and you can serve a max of 10 years. Tell me the context in which that charge deserves 10 years versus 1. Like,
I mean, like,
where's the scale? You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't even make sense.
Maybe.
Like, there's no like checkbox where you filling out the rubric.
I bet you use the history of everything that they presented in the trial. That's what this isn't somebody that like is powerless and couldn't continue to coerce and continue to act that
But that's not what he's found guilty of. That's what I'm saying. That to me is like
but that would be like you're asking what would make somebody get the maximum sentence for something that they're sentenced for. Will be somebody that could have exploited it to the maximum of what they could.
If he was guilty of coercion, then the trafficking would have went through as guilty.
All right, so it's not if you think that he's innocent of the thing, then I think that that's different. So if you think that he's innocent of the interstate trafficking of prostitutes by choice, because I think the only difference is like force and choice inside the prostitution.
But then not trafficking.
But he was legally found not guilty.
For the force on Cassie and the force on Chain, though.
Correct.
But he is found guilty for
paying,
like actually like flying out prostitutes and like that whole thing.
That's it.
Right. And again, like the difference, like it sounds like you have a discrepancy inside like the sentencing guidelines. But
you don't agree with the law.
Like, saying why a person gets the maximum of a thing, it will likely be somebody that can max out what they were doing or did max out what they were doing. Where Diddy had the power and the opportunity and the ability and probably did max out what he was doing when it came down to his ability to fly out prostitutes and do freak offs and shit like that. I imagine if you're asking the question, because you asked the question, why would he get the max or why would he be eligible for the max? It would be probably because he
like
max amount,
like flagrant and like you just do it a whole bunch.
Yeah, I think that he probably like falls.
Like if you get caught on like 1,000 charges of like prostitution soliciting, yeah. Because at that point, like you're not just like Yeah, I guess he could be caught like paying.
But he hasn't been found guilty of this before. It's a first time offense.
Yeah, but like, yeah, but I hear what you're saying.
Hey,
But
look,
like,
when it comes to the law, bro,
30 niggas, but it's the first.
if you like steal a car and then like you get like,
But they found out that I stole 30 of them. Just because it's my first time don't mean I just get off for like one car.
Hey, look, if I do something,
that ain't how it works.
If I do something illegal 50 times and I get caught on the 51st, I'm only getting charged for that one time, broski.
I don't know if it works like that inside the feds when it comes down to like it being
have proof.
Everything that but they had proof that he was like.
But not enough proof. It was deemed not enough.
It gets argued. It gets argued a lot of times.
It got deemed not enough.
It didn't. He got found guilty for what I'm talking about. I'm only talking about what he got found guilty for.
Prostitution.
Yes, and
but that was it was unforced prostitution. You said it was
Yeah,
forced. He didn't force nothing.
When did I use the word he forced? I said that he got off for the Cassie and Jane Doe forced prostitution. What he did get was the idea of like flying out the escorts XYZ. That's what he got found guilty for.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
And you think and you think that by being guilty of that crime by letter of the law, if he gets 10 years, and because he could also because here's the thing about the law, right? Which is so kind of crazy. It's crazy because he's got two charges. A judge has an opportunity to let him do concurrent, where he serves both charges at the same time, or consecutive. Even that in itself is like such a crazy idea when you think about how you're about to sentence somebody. And so based on whatever happens with this sentencing, like what you're saying is because if it's within the judge's jurisdiction, even a 20-year sentence consecutively, that's fair.
Is it fair? Like now that's a different question.
Okay.
But I think that at least at the minimum of like, could he be maxed out and it makes sense? Sure. Like I would have to look and see everything that he did. I didn't really keep up heavy with the Diddy trial, but like I kind of like go to the lens of like, I don't really like ring the bell of like celebrity accountability, but I also don't defend him at all. So like, I don't really care to where whatever he gets, he kind of gets. And I just imagine like, you know, I mean, if I look through it, if it makes sense, then it makes sense. If it's an injustice, then we'll have that conversation. But because I'm not like going out my way to hold niggas accountable, I'm not going out my way to defend niggas either. That's just kind of how I operate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Such a weird dichotomy though.
No, well, to me, it's like if you don't care, then don't care. That's kind of how I approach it. So like I can't not care if it's something, you know, like if they're doing something negative, and then care if they get sentenced for doing that negative thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you're trying to make sure that like you're morally consistent, but like it's like you're essentially like advocating for like apathy and nihilism, where it's like you don't care because it's like it doesn't seem like an injustice now. And you wouldn't care if it was like it wasn't an injustice, like in the
well, my thing would be like if it's an injustice, then I think that we should care about it. But if this is somebody that did crime, in which it seems like he did crime, and he's getting sentenced for crimes that he did commit, like I'm not about to like over drag on the nuances unless it's something egregious. And so if it's sitting within the bounds of it, then bro, I don't like.
I think we disagree on what was egregious. I think that's where we disagree on what's egregious.
But we don't know yet, and that's why I said like, if we just keep it.
You said if he gets 10 years, that's not egregious.
Yeah, G is like forecasting like what he would say.
In sentencing guidelines, I don't care.
Like, honestly, like you're pretty much like in the same boat as all four of us. Like, I mean,
of what? Oh no, it sounds like y'all care. Well, like. Now it sounds like y'all care. Like if he gets past like 3 years, if he gets 3 years, I don't care.
For me, like it would. I would have to hear the reasoning behind why he gets what he gets. But like I don't know, is the judge doing the sentences or the jury? Like
I think the judge.
I think the judges.
I think judge do
sentencing. It varies from case to case, but like either way, like what I'm saying is like I don't necessarily. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because like like universally karmic justice like. Yeah, like bro, like this is like the end of the movie roll credits. The bad guy goes to jail type shit. Like, but at the end of the day, like justice wise, I sort of kind of don't even care in that regard because it's like Diddy's a billionaire, millionaire. I don't care. Like, if Diddy goes to jail, then justice is served for another rich person.
I would say I would prefer that a fucked up person does get some justice, some level of justice, than not scotch free and continues fucking over people. I would prefer that part, but outside of that, like I don't really have like a huge moral condemnation either way.
Yeah, like I don't look at this like some like what's it called? Like some like victory for like the black community because Diddy ain't gonna get the same amount of time that Harvey got. Like to me, it's like Harvey, Diddy, like they in their own little category.
I don't care
of like rich people, and then like hey, like justice was served. Like who cares? Like you move on to the next one. But like in the same regards, like it is gonna kind of look funny in the light if like, all right, let me get this straight. Harvey Weinstein can do this, blah 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 blah, and gets this, blah 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 blah. But Diddy does this and get that. Like it is gonna look funny.
What is Harvey sentenced for? Let me look it up. How long?
But see, but I also think like as far as like what I think what we're saying, and you made a good point as far as
He got 16 years.
The letter
3 maybe.
of the law. Yeah, I think it's fair if he gets the maximum. Because that's what the charge. That's what the charge stands for. But I think where I'm at with it is I'm always weary when it comes to like a black man in the legal system, guilty or not guilty. I feel like there's times where the system there's the system's not always fair to us, and that's the only thing I would just be cautious of and be wary of. Just make sure like he doesn't get overcharged, he doesn't get anything egregious. But yeah, if it's just regular, we can do whatever. I don't care what he gets. I don't think he's free.
If the niggas he did the things that they said he did, I don't care about it, bro. That's just me personally. But yeah, I guess I was actually setting that question up, in which we kind of got lost in for a second. To say, and again, this is based off of the idea of should it be free Diddy? And the culture kind of like moved.
Harvey got 39 years total.
Oh, it's 39.
He got consecutive sentences. He got a 23-year sentence based off a New York trial.
Okay, yes,
and then another one in 2022.
Yeah, the 16 year. Okay, I see it. Yeah.
Ooh.
I didn't know there was consecutive. I seen both of them, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if we can really compare.
Yeah, based upon
he was actually convicted of rape. Like he was convicted of violent crime. Diddy?
So it's like based upon like the
Diddy's not convicted of violent crime.
Yeah. Like if we're comparing apples to Diddy apples to Weinstein apples, like I'm just saying, like
not even the same.
Prostitution and forcible rape. That's not that gets you 23 years.
No, they got him 39.
Well, like let's see. I think it's 39 total.
Well, no, yeah, the one he actually got charged with that forcible thing on both. One was 3rd degree, one was just flat out
consecutive or running at the same time.
They are consecutive. He started his sentence and he got sentenced for the other one. So like he was in jail when the other trial started.
So like that, that's pretty much he got 40
another 16 on top of his 23.
And with Diddy, he's likely to get 10 and below.
Dang, when you put it like that.
20 because it's 2.
Well,
20 and below.
Like I think we all would say like, damn, that's probably a lot if they stack it, right? But like what's likely to happen would be 10 and below.
Yeah.
And that's like if you maxing it out. I don't know if they're gonna max it out. I wouldn't put.
Will you agree, Q? If it go above 10, then it's getting to kind of like spooky, like conspiracy territory at that point.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't say free him. I'd just say get a nigga 10. That's what I would say. Oh
my god.
But like that's just me. I don't know. Yeah.
He said like some push-ups.
Right. But saying all that to say, the question would be, is the industry, and we brought in Weinstein, we brought in Louis C.K. earlier. Is the industry built on protecting predators? What are y'all thoughts?
Say it again. You said protecting criminals?
Predators, apex predators.
Yeah, I think all of that stuff is. I mean, not just the entertainment, but like the politics. I mean, I think
Shout out
there's
to
a lot of
Queen.
people that will be on that Epstein list. So I mean, well, I think it's the I don't want to say the elite is just all wealthy people, but it's a segment of society. Once you reach there, it's like an immunity. Like no matter what you do, they're all in it to almost protect each other because they work together, and one domino fall, it could almost ruin it for all of them. Especially like think why it's pretty like it's the reason why I think a lot of the Diddy case just kind of went away so quick. The Epstein, he got up out of there. It's people that don't want to get implicated with dealing with these people, and so uh, yeah, I definitely think it's a lot that's going on with it.
I mean, I think you muted G.
I'll say if you got industries that centralize a lot of power and money, you're gonna see that predatory influence heavy in the industry, right? So you talking like, especially entertainment, it's so much money in entertainment. The folks who are the gatekeepers, they're gonna leverage that power in some predatory ways. Politics, like Johnny said, you talking, not as much. It's still a lot of money at play, but the power behind it, the ability to make certain decisions, they're gonna be people who are willing to abuse that power and be predatory. So yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. And I think it's well documented too, how with these, especially like the music industry, it's arguably one of the most predatory industries that you can think of. So it's definitely designed to I don't even know if protect predators is designed to facilitate predatory practices. It's like it's a cesspool. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. So it's like
the industry in itself is a predator.
Exactly. Like that's what it's an environment for them. So it's like, I guess if it's there to protect them, I don't know, but it's there for predators. Like, and that's where a lot of them flock to.
They just let the lions roam.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily anything that's like exclusive to like the music industry or the industry, like the entertainment industry in general. I just think that's something that we all can see, but like not to sound like like some leftists, but like I think the internal logic of capitalism kind of puts everybody in this position at one point or another. Like I remember being a little kid working at Burger King. That was my first job, and like if the boss says like, "Hey man, like you got closed," well, like I closed yesterday, and like I'm only on the schedule for this time. Are you really in a position to say no? Like you just got your
My
first
mama
car.
outside.
Yeah. Like you got prom to pay for, like and like that's just like working at McDonald's or Burger King, like something small. Like even like when you advance in your career, like your boss tells you like, hey, like this or that, and you're like, damn, like technically I shouldn't have to, but
well, really they don't tell you this or that. They just tell you, well, we need you to do
but
this.
like
that's why I quit my joint at Abercrombie. I was like, I ain't doing this shit, and I just
if you
left
don't
that
read
bitch.
between the lines, then now all of a sudden now like you're not on the schedule no more. All of a sudden now you getting passed over for like like promotions and like raises. So it's kind of like two parts. Like we put ourselves in these weird positions. Like fuck, man, I'm just trying to make money for my family. Like, all right, I'll work another shift. And I think a lot of the times, a lot of these victims, like they get put in them compromising positions too. So like, I know a lot of people might look at like Cassie, like I would have left. Like, yeah, you say that, but like you'll probably be the same person, like working like some bullshit dead end job, and like fuck, damn, this job suck, man. They got me on the phone talking all day to people, and they, somebody just gave me a death threat, and I gotta take the next call, and it's like. Yeah, like it's the same thing. Like I think if there was more wealth, like less wealth inequality, and people kind of had a little bit more freedom and financial security, like I think people are less likely to be put in these weird positions because like even like when you look at it like certain things don't happen to certain people from certain backgrounds. Like I don't think you're gonna hear about like kids who come from wealth in the entertainment industry being put in these weird compromising positions. Like your Timothy Chalamet's, like Will Smith kids. Like I think they can just be entertainers and go home about their business, drop when they want to drop, come in and go about their business. But like people who like you're the first person in your family to achieve generational wealth, like you kind of get put in these compromising positions all the time. So yeah. I don't think it's an industry thing. I think it's really like a money inequality thing.
Where's Steve at when you need him? Shout out to the appeal to, I guess that's almost like democratic socialism, the UBI, a lot of like some of those fundamental principles. Johnny, talk to us.
What's the question?
Oh damn, I kind of forgot. I was hoping that me throwing it to you was going to keep us there.
I think I answered it already.
Oh, you did?
The question about predators.
Yeah, predators. All right, so
I
I
think
guess before I drop the call-in link, what is and should there be a takeaway from this whole Diddy scenario situation? Like there's a lot of angles to go with, but what is y'all thoughts? Is there like a specific takeaway that you took that as a community we should take? I don't know. What's y'all thoughts?
Still will seal the deal.
All right.
You're breaking up.
Boy, get you off.
You said what? Say it again, Johnny. You was breaking up.
That boy Brian still gonna seal the deal. Like he'll get you off. I think it shows you how good lawyers and uh I think it was interesting to watch the prosecution and how the defense how they went back and forth. And
So
yeah,
no
good
good. Like,
lawyers.
do you have any cultural critiques? Any cultural takeaways? Any personal takeaways? Nah.
Not really. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. Yeah.
Brian Steele. That's crazy. Alex.
Main takeaway is like I think no matter how powerful you are, like it's gonna crumble one day. You know, it's like the story of Ozymandias. Like no matter what you build up, like it's all gonna come crumbling down one day, and like only thing's gonna be left is the ruins. Like Diddy was like, it's like Diddy is probably like one of the most ubiquitous people in pop like music of like who's still alive to me at least. Like he was everywhere. Like he was on MTV. Like if he wasn't on MTV, people was making jokes about him. Like like before everything. Like as ubiquitous and as powerful and as well of a brand he's built up over the years. Like like we have like slowly seen the chinks of it breaking and falling off this whole time to the point it pretty much has imploded. So like, yeah, try to live a righteous life as much as you can. It like Brandon. I think if anything, Diddy is like the death of like building a brand. Like you either are a good person or you're not. Like, and it's gonna shine through. So you might as well just work on yourself.
Even if you name yourself Brother Love. So I guess let me ask you this. Follow-up question would be: does Diddy deserve redemption? Does he deserve a a path to reclaim back his like his, I don't know what you would call it, like stature status, glory, or is his legacy over?
I mean, it's never over for anybody. Like, Chris Brown is doing relatively well for himself, and he was like a social pariah at one point. Like, I don't think he ever reached like the same star that he used to get, like he used to have. But like,
would you say that he deserves redemption?
I don't think that's something you can say from the onset. Like, I think that's like me personally. I never seen.
What could Diddy do then? In
like, I don't think there's much he can do. Like, I think.
All right, so you see him as a dub so far. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll say this. I think once a man serves his time to society, once you serve your debt to society, if he lay down 3, 7, 10 years, whatever it is, once he gets out and he's served his time, I don't see why he couldn't. I don't see why. Like I think that's the point of going to jail. Like if you do a
No.
crime, you do the time. Then like should there be like? But I think like that's the thing
The
about
redemption.
stigmatizing. I mean, I think any felon deserves a redemption. Like outside of just Diddy. Like I mean, if you do the crime and you do the time, like you shouldn't be stigmatized in society after you do your time in jail. That's
So
what the
let me
time
ask you about this. So if we use like
is.
the Adobe file word, right? So I don't think that carries life. So once they do it,
Sometimes.
but
A lot
like,
of it, a lot of times you
because
just
a lot of people like they had a little thing that Kendrick put on all the on Drake's house. So if you do your time, you get out. Do you deserve like redemption and retribution from that?
Your ass is on that
you
list,
deserve
nigga,
to. I mean, you
for
deserve to
life.
be on that list. Also,
According to like what you're saying, like
you deserve to be on the list. Also, but like, I think there are certain like,
they should let you
yeah, you
back around
probably
the
can't.
kids.
No, I was just about to say that there got to be certain things, but like as far as like being like a working person, like I mean, once you do your time, that's just with anything. If you get sentenced to
Nah.
25 years, you do 25 years, you come out, that's the time. Then what's the point of jail?
No. Not in the American
I'm
context.
just talking about in principle. Like I ain't talking about, but like,
like going to prison here
and
isn't.
honestly, like if you
In
mess with kids, you
principle, you
probably
might have a point. You in principle, you might have a point, but the reality is, you think it's just for a predator to stay on a list and be recorded as such, and then also be restricted from interacting with children. Correct?
yes,
Yep.
but yeah,
Yes,
but that's totally
that's a
different than.
contradiction. No, like it's not because he served his time, but he still needs to be continually held accountable according to that.
Yeah, I mean,
On
because that's
certain,
like
yeah, I mean, but like on that, but you're still getting out and still able to,
nah.
be a part of society.
Not
Well,
really,
yeah,
bro.
like,
They're
you
Like,
gonna
should
they're
never
gonna
be
run your
free.
background.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
you shouldn't ever be free, but it's
that's
and
kind of
You
like
and
can't
what
even
like.
and
expunge
like,
that. I don't even think you can expunge that off the record.
and that's
I
totally
mean,
different than
you
prostitution.
probably
Also,
can.
I totally agree with you. If you're like a PDF file, yeah, there probably ain't no coming back from that. But like, that's not what we were talking about. Like, we were talking about Diddy.
well, I mean, like, and I think that we're also talking about, like public perception. Do you think that prostitution was like literally the only thing that he did, or was he also clearly beating his wife?
I mean, we saw it on
Like
camera though.
yeah, like he did a bunch of other things. He just was convicted of a thing, and so now we're talking about the in the ire of the public. And like when we're talking about the redemption, like this isn't like a legal redemption that we're talking about. So
Like
he didn't just
if there
like
was
pop
like
women out to get popped.
if we had like some
Okay,
Black
so
Mirror technology where like going to prison in America means like you go in, they like flash a light in your eyes, and then you get like rehabilitated to the point that you don't have the same like tendencies, proclivities, and just general disposition to do bad shit. Then I think everyone would be like, yeah, like he went to jail, and then he's a better person now. But like, I
Elon
think
Musk working on that.
nah. Well, like I think a
so
lot of
so
times, like
okay, so
we view jail
but
as like
so
or
Alex,
prison as like you're there, and that's just the beginning of the sentence. When you get out, it's like we're forever going to castigate you and subjugate you in society, and that's to encourage
but that's
everybody
not
else.
right.
Like, hmm,
But that's not right. Like people
it's
shouldn't
not
be
right, but like that's a
castigated.
part of the justice system in America. Like,
Like, but you just said
if
like so
all I
like
had to
so
worry
so
about was
like
like, but I'm just saying, Johnny, like if all you had to worry
so does
about when you
anybody
go in,
deserve redemption for any
hold
mistakes
on, like
then? So once you make a mistake, you
I'm
should
not gonna
always be
answer your
cast as
question
a
until I get
mistake.
what I gotta say out. If you go to jail, if all you had to worry about, like I robbed the bank, you got to sit in jail for like 5 years. I don't think that's a deterrent. I think what the real deterrent is, you sit in jail for 5 years, you lose your life, and you can't do nothing moving forward. I think that's the main deterrent when it comes to like like not doing bad stuff in America. It's not to rehabilitate anybody. So that's why we don't look at people who go to jail as like, yep, he's reformed now. Like you have to do some serious like community work and activism and like make it like well known like, hey, this is what I'm here to do. So
But we deserve better than that though. Like you don't think people deserve redemption after they get out of jail?
yeah, I
Like you
mean
So
think
like
Johnny,
look
why
at Look
why
at
do
like how
certain
prisons are in
crimes?
Denmark. Yeah, like they like colleges.
So what does redemption look like for some criminals but not others?
I mean, I think it depends on the rehabilitation, but I think there are some crimes that are not rehabilitatable.
So then that
There's
would be
certain
my
things.
question. Like, how do you draw the line? Like, is it
I
just
think there's
like
certain. I would say like murdering, you know, messing, yeah,
so if
eating up. Like I think
a
those
man
two.
kills a man,
Well, actually, no. I take back the murder because there's certain instances where you could be rehabilitated from that. But I think that one of them is just a sickness, where there's probably no cure for that. But
But
anything
like
else, probably.
even that kind of like begs the question. Like I don't think it's what crime you did. It's there is no quantifiable measure in the justice system to like, all right, like this person grew up in these conditions that led to them doing this crime. Here are the steps and the bullet points that we have to hit to make sure that they meet the requirements to be considered rehabilitated. Because I don't think anybody will want to live in a system where it's like, all right, like there are definitive things that you can show and do and demonstrate that you are a reformed criminal. And let's say like it only takes you like, I don't know, 6 months to be rehabilitated, and now you're completely a good person. I don't think anybody will be cool with that. So like I think that's why we have what we have. You know, like you go to jail and now like you're gonna be shamed for the rest of your life, depending on what you have. Like it's weird to say it, but like I think people like if you murder somebody, like I think people are a little bit more like forgiving than if you like I don't know grape somebody or like I don't know like yeah, and that's weird in my head. It's like you took someone's life, but like no one is gonna like you know castigate you for the rest of your life unless you like murdered a kid. I don't know. It's like there's no like this shit's all over the place. Like there's no consistency here, but.
I agree.
I think we deserve. I think we deserve a system that rehabilitates us, though, as like Americans, not even just black people, just as Americans,
But
and
do
that
you
was
believe
supposed
that
to
for
be the greatest.
everybody? That's the question. For everybody
Well,
who did
I'm
everything.
I'm saying this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world. And so people claim they be screaming that all day long. But like we look at places that have better rehabilitation systems for people, like you said, Denmark. Uh, and like as much money we pay in taxes, as much money that gets sent all over the world, we deserve to be able to be rehabilitated for our mistakes. We shouldn't just make a mistake and
But Johnny,
because our
let me
system
ask you this:
is good
like,
enough, we get to practice it for the rest
imagine.
of your life.
So let me imagine, and both of these are gonna be like hypotheticals. Imagine like America suddenly has been reformed, and we have the greatest rehabilitation system in the world, right? Fuck Denmark, like we just got fire. It's fire, right? And like your next door neighbor went to jail because he was an Adobe foul, but he went through that fire, like it was fire rehabilitation system. He did his time. He got out. He's good. Let's say you just had had your 5, 6, 7, 8 year old, and you know what I mean. Like y'all are neighbors. Do you trust that habilitation when they out in the yard?
I don't trust. Yeah, I don't trust. I wouldn't trust anybody. Like I mean, you trust people that haven't done anything.
avoiding the
Like,
question, avoiding the question. Johnny out here, Barry Sanders with it too. Like, yeah. Avoiding the
Like,
question.
like if being like a criminal or committing crime is like let's say it's being
I ain't
treated
going
the
to the
same.
gun range with a nigga that's committed murder by gun.
Or like let's say it was like the
doing
same, like you know like how you can visibly see like someone broke their leg, like you can't fake like your leg mending. Like you gotta like, all right, is it healed? Can you still
Yeah.
run up and down the court like how you used to? Like I like you'll still be hesitant, like, all right, I don't know if he still got it, but let me go ahead and pass him the rock.
Man.
And then once he slams dunk that shit, and it's like, oh shit, like he's
it's Paul
healed.
George. Yeah, Paul George came back again.
I don't care how much rehabilitation you got. Once you are known as a nigga who will steal, it don't matter how much time you serve in jail. When your ass get back, niggas is like, watch your purse, Watch your pockets. Put that up before somebody come over here. I don't want my shit missing.
But like,
you are getting labeled.
I guess like
So I'm saying,
more from like
and every family got a couple. I'm telling you, every family got a couple.
What if they hit the lottery? You think they still would steal?
Sci-fi like psychology thing. Like, let's say like someone who has a proclivity to steal.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was the same way you can visibly see their broken arm. It's like, nah, bro. His stealing habits is healed. Like the same way you'll see his arm heal. It's like, yeah, I'm not about to like, while you're wearing a cast, like, do that to you. But like, let's say they're healed. Like at some point, that is where society's gonna get. Like going to prison means like you go sit in the chair, get your brain zapped, and it's like, all right, you're rehabilitated. Like I think the puritanical holdovers of like crime.
Yeah, all right, so, but I think like you're going into like a weird 1987 or what is that 82 whatever the name number like slash Elon Musk Neuralink consciousness downloading type scenario, Black Mirror scenario. Also, I guess if you go like super woke, the mark of the beast chip, RFD, whatever chip thing. In which I think that we're a long ways away. I don't even know if like our generation.
Not really, bro. Like that's what like
I was trying to move us closer to today because I think that like what we're at is so far that it's so many hurdles we have to.
It's like this being results based. Like okay, like when
I see you back there. I'm about to pull it yet.
Like when I mean results based, like there's so many football teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, they have analytics now. Like you don't like that's why everyone plays small basketball now. You shoot the three. No one's trying to like post up in the paint and like do the shit they were doing in the 90s because like they have like, nah, bro, like whenever James Harden goes to the three at in the third quarter, he makes it. So we're gonna keep drawing that play. Like we don't apply that to like prisoners. Like we just like y'all know like we need some analytics for prisoners. Like that's all I'm saying.
Right, but Alex
got plenty of data on prisoners, bro.
Alex, the crazy thing is that like if we just use the example that you use, like you see the mid range coming back again. Like sometimes what you believe is like the solution is only solution for a specific scenario. But then once things like change, like new things are adjusted. So now, like the MVP is a mid-range assassin. The other guy that like
because the game changes, all results based and results driven. Like you looking at like these are
right, but I guess what I'm saying is that I don't think that they're like same with basketball. I think that it's always just going to continue doing this because of everything is a game of adjustments. And it's going to be the same thing with like, like people, human nature, society, like same way, like when people start using like antiquated versions of the way, whether it's relationship and societal dynamics used to be in comparison to like what we like should do today, where it's like, well, everything has evolved. So now like it's a new version of what we should be looking to adjust to. And inside 20 years, that's also going to be way different than what we should adjust to. I think that like it's always like an ever evolving thing in which there's some like maybe some smaller traits that you can kind of walk down the line of, but society as it is going to change so much that like, yeah, like I think that it's hard to keep a very strict thing to be like, all right, well, you're going to commit a crime. We're going to throw you in there. And unless, again, we're talking about people giving up full brain autonomy to go into like this version of like the quote unquote matrix RFID person control. And like you get, as you said, zapped into like, all right, now this is corrective. Now it's like, are we actually humans? And that's what I say, like we get a way further out into like,
like that's like in the future. Like I'm just saying,
we're gonna come to you. Don't leave off.
Like you get some like psychology help. Like you got occupational therapy to teach like 2-year-olds how to use spoons and pencils. Like maybe just do something on the higher level.
Yeah. All right. So with that said, y'all see him in the bottom corner. Unc, talk to us. What's going on?
Yo, what's good, everybody? Look, everybody's so upset about what Diddy did or whatever, and you can put your own thoughts on he was found innocent on things, but the things that he wasn't found innocent on, they're not worth 20 years. And if I'm correct, in New York, I believe they're gonna run concurrent. Even I believe they're gonna run concurrent. And if 10 years, and like I tell anybody that's around my age, anything over 7 years is a life sentence for us. We old folk, you know what I mean? Think about it. I'm being real with you. Once you hit 50, 7 years or better is a life sentence for us, and that's real talk. That's not talking crazy or nobody doing anything or saying something or whatever. 7 years for a 50-year-old is a life sentence because you don't know how much longer you have to be here. You know what I'm saying? You don't know unless you're a person that's a specimen of health that you know exactly what's going on with you. 7 years is a life sentence. So I think anything over 7 years is really crazy, and that's why I believe they over sentenced R. Kelly. But you know what I'm saying, when we thinking about far as in everybody saying like, oh, did he do this? If the jury said he didn't do it, let it go. He didn't do it. Let it go. You can keep saying this, whatever the jury said, okay, and it's no more where a person wants to sit and say, oh, I'm not going to mess with this person. Because you look at Elvis. Elvis held that girl since she was 14 years old and housed her from 16, I think 15 or 16 years old. And what did she 18 years old to marry? And everybody still call him the king. So, and with that said, also, as Alex said earlier, you can't go way back then. How you going to not go way back then when Alex started off talking about Bill Cosby? And Bill Cosby shit went back 30 years. And from them 30 years, we go back to Hugh Hefner. Now, if you saying Bill Cosby did this thing, and some of the stuff he did was in Hugh Hefner's house, which was this right here. Now, if he did something to a 16-year-old in Hugh Hefner's house, why they didn't charge Hugh Hefner? He was still alive when Cosby went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? All of this goes out to this right here. My thing is this right here. No matter what you do as being a black person, once you become wealthy, not rich, but wealthy, that's damn near at the billionaire status or being a billionaire, they're going to do something to bring your ass back down. They always do. It's not, no one can name anybody except for Oprah Winfrey, who ain't went through a scandal. She the only one. Because look at Tyler. Tyler Perry going through one now. The white man said he got them texting him. So what black celebrity has become wealthy in your generation, between your generation and my generation? We kind of close in ages a little bit.
Denzel.
You know what I'm
saying?
Huh?
What about Jay-Z and Beyonce?
He said Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson also.
Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson. Denzel isn't a billionaire.
Yeah, he's not.
Well, you said wealthy.
Ain't no wealthy though.
Jay-Z and Beyonce are billionaires.
They are billionaires, but they're always getting pulled in some bullshit. They're always getting pulled in bullshit.
And quick. The one time that I don't know if Beyonce been pulled in anything.
Yeah, her worst scandal is getting cheated on.
I'm saying Jay-Z is always getting pulled in some bullshit. So what that shows you is this right here.
They did try to put Jay-Z with Diddy when this stuff was starting to line up. Like they did try to lump him in with Diddy.
Grab that ruler and slap that hand real quick. The one woman that tried to sue him.
Yeah,
that nigga is like completely getting the lawyer disbarred. Like Jay he really don't play.
They don't play. Jay do not play. What I'm saying to you is this right here. Look at Parsons in this right here. Okay, you have him. Okay, you have one. Out of everybody that has came out of all of this right here, you have this going on. And we as black people are the only ones that will call a court gesture our political activists. Nobody else does it. Why? Why is that?
So
Alex, tell me you got them bowing your head side to side. Say what you're saying. Speak your truth.
I hear what you're saying, but like white folks got like they got Kim Kardashian. Like Kim Kardashian is considered an activist. So like
Kim Kardashian ain't considered shit. Ain't nobody paying her ass no attention.
She's actually got credentials though. To be fair.
No, I'm saying she has credentials. She's a lawyer.
Yeah,
She is a lawyer.
she's got credentials. To be fair.
Not for nothing. Like you said, like
I'm not for nothing, but you're not for
one of the
nothing.
most
But
revered
say what you
people
say.
in the Republican Party is Ronald Reagan. He was a former actor, and the same thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like a former actor.
Bruh, that's far in between on what I'm saying.
Hey, listen, the Taylor Swift cosign means something to them white folks. They were waiting for it.
Saying, bro.
All I'm saying is this right here. You always gonna have somebody that's gonna say that this ain't happening or this ain't whatever. You can fall for whatever you want to fall for, or you can fall for the truth because the truth is the truth. They always gonna come after any black person that gets a certain amount of money because they don't want that money to be put down as generational wealth. They don't want generational wealth going on because, see, once you become a billionaire, your money makes money that makes money that makes money that makes money, which means that it's money coming in and it's going to be enough money where it's going to be generational down. That's what happens with that. And all that you trying to sit there and bow your head side to side saying, Alex, is that you know what I'm saying, that you agree with that should happen.
I'm listening to you, but like I'm just saying, like you said like
I'm on fire tonight, boy.
All right, what are you saying? What are you saying, Alex? Or either got this shut your mouth.
I hear what you're saying. Like the black man who the black man who owns the Weather Channel, like he's not caught up in nothing right now. So
the black man that owns what channel? The Weather Channel. You talking about? You talking about Byron Allen?
Yeah, Byron.
Yeah.
I know about Byron Allen. I know about Byron Allen since he was a comedian.
He just won a lawsuit recently, right? Didn't he just win a lawsuit recently?
Because they won't let his channels go on cable, and a lot of his channels couldn't go through, and things of that nature. I know what you're saying about this or that, whatever. It's certain people, it's certain ones. You can name and pick and choose, but we're talking about the majority. We're not talking about the minority. You're speaking of the majority. What you sound like is a person that your best friend is a white person. And you want to goddamn have them as goddamn up under your umbrella. All right.
No, like you kind of turning up. Like
he turned.
Yeah, like come on, like we that's what we need to. Kamu, talk to us, brother.
Hey man, that Discord, y'all join the Discord. That's what got him hype. Y'all got to join the Discord. He fired up. He ready to go.
I'm coming in like shout out to Kofi. I'm coming in like Kofi today, like just ready to fire. I'm like, relax, look, like we just trying to have a fun conversation.
I apologize, Alex.
We're just talking, man. No, we good. I know who you are.
Kamu, talk to us, brother. Tell us why we got free Diddy.
Yeah. How's it, gentlemen? How's it?
Good.
Guys, okay. Well, if you can hear me, it's fine. But I can't properly hear you. There's some sort of delay on my side. Yeah, man. Look, Diddy, with the court charges against him. Obviously, if you don't use emotions and go off of rationale, they have nothing on him. And
exactly.
There has been conspiracy theories that suggest that just on the basis that he did not snitch out, like he did not call people out. I mean, he had so many people that he could have. He had so many names that he could have been like, I mean, that guy, LeBron James, whoever, and but he decided not to. You know what I mean? So conspiracy theories suggest that just on those bases, the system is gonna be a little bit more linear on him, like not harsh. And well, we've seen that unfold. I don't think he's gonna get anything more than 7 years. Even jail time, I doubt he's gonna get any jail time. Just because he handled it like a G, he handled it like a G, and probably.
But Kamu, you know that the judge denied him bail before the sentencing, which typically signals he's gonna do some time.
Oh yeah.
But isn't he out now?
No.
No.
He got the judge denied that.
Bail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's still
he
in
in jail
jail.
till October, pretty much.
Yeah, he got found guilty now.
He's still guilty. Yeah.
They extradited it, so it's probably most likely since his case they extradited it. So we be looking at probably September to end of August of him getting
Push it up. I know they gave a date for October.
Yeah, but the money he got they extradited. It's gonna get probably be September.
All right, Kamu, lay your play.
But going with the charges like of like prostitution and Rico, I don't think they have anything on him. Honestly, like
Well, they have him with prostitution for sure.
Yeah, he was found guilty of 2 counts of prostitution, and the Rico case was not guilty.
Yeah, they just couldn't. They couldn't prove that the women Jane Doe and Cassie wasn't also willing participants in the freak offs and
So
extortions and shit. Like that.
interstate. He was found guilty of interstate prostitution.
Yes. Let me. I can pull up.
I don't know I don't think that's the exact term, but basically transporting cross lines, transporting for the purpose of prostitution or something like that.
If you the way they put it was, and this is how it is, and this is why I asked earlier. The thing is that if you go and you meet a girl and you meet her from one state, and you meet her from this state, and you bring her to your state, and you pay for her flight, and y'all have sex, now you are transporting, and that's not right. Because I don't know no man on here that has never paid for a plane ticket or either paid to wait for a woman out of town or something like that. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, like if you get her an Uber to come over and knock that down, is that transportation for engagement and prostitution?
No, that's how they trying to put it. That's what they're trying to do.
They gonna start getting niggas for getting the hoes Ubers?
No,
crazy.
I'm telling you that's the way.
No,
that's crazy.
No, like they had a sex worker that said that he flew him over there. Like that's way different than paying for like what Boosie is worried about.
All the woman has to do is say that she's a sex worker. All she got to do is say I'm the sex worker. She had to be one. But if you pay for her to get there and she says she was one, then you get charged for it.
No, because like you have to pay her for the sex when you're there. Like if you flew her out and then paid her for fucking, then she kind of is a sex worker.
If you brought her in and bought her a pair of Jordans, she's a sex worker. And you had sex with her, real thing, because you spent money on her.
But But if it says, can they prove that he?
If anything, I think there's a higher burden to prove prostitution because, like what Unc said, like if you and a girl went on a date, like I think no one's gonna consider that like prostitution. It's just like, oh, y'all went on a date, but
when you fly her in from out of state for that date.
Yeah, and you got correspondence dating, like
you pay for the pussy, man.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Are we seriously thinking? I understand like the joke of it, but
no, seriously, that's
flying out as like what somebody is going to get charged for prostitution or sex trafficking.
Yes.
I think it does. It does
because you spent money on them to have sex with them.
I think that's it is interesting of what he's found guilty of. It is because
like flying out for prostitution. Escorts that they found on Craigslist that came only to have sex and then left.
If you can't,
that's not even a comparable thing.
So you don't think there was no fellowship?
The nigga, like we sat and watched the Cam interview. You heard the nigga? Like Diddy came in with a whole like what he had. Like he was dressed like Dungeons and Dragons with mask on, and he said I ain't know it was Diddy into a year. That's what the nigga said. Like it's not like you heard the nigga. They weren't fraternizing or nothing like that.
They're making it to where if you can't do anything nice for a woman,
Bro,
and have sex. You better not do nothing nice to her, have sex with it, and she get mad at you. Oh, he bought me a $200 bouquet of roses, and you know roses don't even cost that much, but she put up that price. Oh, he paid some poo.
So
Now
Q, what if you? It's like, yeah,
I don't believe in it. Like, show me where that is the barrier of like what it is, because what Diddy is convicted of is way more than that.
If you fly her out and
like such a barrier, but Diddy's convicted of way more.
If you fly her out and smash and then like cash app her just for like go get you something to eat in a bag, that's like a payment.
That's a payment. It's a payment.
Listen, if you fly a female out, pop, and then pay her, like whatever you say it's for, like
to get a bag,
it just seems like a dumb thing to do. Like if that's just give her the.
But you know, these dudes, they be tricking. They give these girls money all the time.
Bro, listen, if you are paying for box, then that's on you. I ain't interested.
But hey, look, it go like this right here. You gonna pay for it one way or another. And you got the money.
But I'm not paying for a prostitute. Like I'm not paying for an escort to fly across the country and then pay her while she's there. Like that's what she's in jail for. Like this is the different thing that we were talking about.
Hey, it's not a world I know of.
I guess I need to look at the statues.
I'm sorry, man. Like
what?
It's not a world I can relate to. I have to say. But Shannon Sharp was literally like paying $20 for each cheat. So it's like, you know, these niggas different, man.
Yeah. When you got money like that, it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to you. It's nothing to you. See, that's the whole difference. That's what I'm talking about.
He might just pay. He might pay the girl rent for the whole year just cause.
Yeah.
I don't think that we have like a real conversation.
Anybody ever pay the bill? For like I pay a light bill, you might pay a cable bill or pay a phone bill. So I'm gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's old. Nobody do that no more. You're too expensive.
No, what I'm saying to you is that if you ever have, you say that's old school. You don't know because you only had sex with one woman, so you don't know no better. But what I'm saying to
what's
you,
wrong with that?
You only had sex with one woman.
What's wrong with having sex with one woman?
Be quiet. That's the only woman you ever gonna have sex with is that one woman. What I'm saying to y'all that had women. It's right here. When you out here in the world and you out here with women, sometimes you might pay a bill. If you pay a bill with a woman, you know what I'm saying? That could be the same thing for us. And like, you know, you get caught up in that because you pay the bill. Alex, don't do that because y'all know, but you know better.
Johnny, tell them about all the bills that you pay for women.
Nah, I ain't got it like that. Man. Ain't got PD. Ain't got PD.
I say it was old school.
But hey, I know you at least give them a password to the Netflix or something.
You ain't giving the password. You're giving the password. That's it. That's what you
let them get a profile.
Hulu. Yeah, I put a Hulu. I put a heart on my
friend. Johnny,
custom avatar on the profile and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's how you know Johnny. The hood bras, you're gonna pay a light bill or something. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Alex don't know no better than Alex only had, you know, Alex had a piece and married it. I love it.
Hey,
and
I ain't against paying the bill.
Hey,
add up, man.
I would be proud of me.
Alex, I am proud of you, bro. I am proud of you because you know what I'm saying. What you doing is the most noble thing that any man could do out here. That was the best thing to do. You know what I'm saying? You did it right. And look at your bank account now versus niggas that got them paid them bills. You know what I'm talking about? You paid one bill, and it was yours and hers, wasn't it? It was yours and hers when you start paying bills. All right, you did the right thing. But you sometimes your conversation don't have nothing to do with when I'm talking about something else. You only had one. You don't know. You know I'm talking to what y'all call Johnny, the warrior. I'm talking to warriors. You know, the warrior.
Wait, I'm off subject. We talking about bills.
You are a soldier. You're a soldier. For certain, I'm just saying, if you ever did,
say that Johnny's a part of the warrior class because he like if we had a draft, he'd be like one of the first people drafted because no wife, no kids. That's Johnny.
Okay. He's a warrior.
He's a warrior.
He's a warrior. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You're a soldier. You just a soldier. You going straight down the line. You right there. You ain't never.
I need
You ain't
some.
never.
I need some artillery though.
All right, y'all fellas. Let's get to an ending point of this Diddy conversation. Fun banter, but again, I don't know. I guess we kind of hit on a bunch of different points within this. We can end with this one. So he was convicted, but what he was found innocent of was the racketeering, in which that's the RICO, and a part of the RICO, and what a lot of like if you go like the conspiracy route and the things like that, was the idea that with the RICO they could actually seize his empire. And like that's when they taking his assets, his money, his mega. You know, you can kind of go down the line of all the things that made Diddy a billionaire or close enough to a billionaire, right? Is him getting found not guilty for the RICO the biggest win for the black? Is it like okay? I guess a big win for him, a bigger win for the black community. There we go. This is what I'm hearing. The streets are saying this, so I'm trying to understand.
This is not a win for the black community.
It's not.
This nigga didn't get hit with the RICO.
Everybody was saying that they was trying to take his like the black man. When you get too much money, they're gonna come for your assets, generational wealth, and like a part of that would be that the RICO will be built around taking the wealth from the black man because of XYZ, and if they weren't able to actually accrue the assets of like Diddy through the RICO, then it's a win for the black community because the black wealth still stands.
Well, if I feel like if the black wealth still stands, that's a good thing.
Diddy wealth ain't black wealth.
Huh? You said what?
I said that's Diddy's wealth. That's not black wealth.
I'm saying, but his family, it's for his kids and stuff. If the money gonna go down to his kids, that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't put past that. That's like saying like the same thing as slavery money. The people that had money that came down from slavery and all that stuff. So if his evils, the money get passed down to the next generation, and it is what it is. But you know what I'm saying? Hey, if nobody ain't mad at these slave people that got all this money that had built this generational wealth through slavery, they shouldn't be mad at him off him out here buying boys and buying girls. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to buy him some men and buy him some women and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Still, they were evil people. He's an evil person. He's just an evil person. But you know what I'm saying? If they didn't find him guilty on all of his evilness, you know what I'm saying? Hell, his money gonna get passed on. It happened to white people 100 times. As they say, let it go. Let it go. That's it.
All right. G, what's your thoughts? Is this the win for the black folk?
No, not at all. For the community, nah. Like the reality is, it ain't but a handful of people who reasonably are even gonna be in anything close to a RICO. Like that's not. I mean, and then if we being honest, like maybe as of late they've used it to target certain people who are doing some questionable things that do look like us, but the average person in the community don't gotta like worry about walking down the street getting hit with a RICO. You know what I'm saying? Off the stop and frisk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not a thing. So like and like I said, like this whole thing about black wealth is like, Diddy is wealthy. You know what I'm saying? His family is wealthy, but I don't know if Diddy is the most. I'm not gonna say he hasn't done anything philanthropic, but he's not like this nonprofit that just like distributes all his wealth to the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very much a capitalist, very much like willing to put his foot on others' necks to get what he wants from a business perspective. Does not care about quote unquote equity and fairness and making sure people have what they need business wise, etc. He is a shrewd businessman. So you know, I wouldn't see it's a win for him, but it's not a win for the quote unquote community. It's a win for him and his direct community.
Okay. Johnny, is Diddy the black John Gotti? And is this a win for the black community?
Nah, he not the Black John Gotti.
No, you're not.
Didn't John Gotti didn't he lose his?
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
see.
Johnny
did he?
Gotti went to jail because they caught him. They caught him on some
Yeah,
bullshit.
John Gotti lost the Rico. Why would we call him that?
Oh, no, I think didn't he win it? I seen 50 Cent say that he was a black John Gotti.
They was snitching and they had the wiretaps.
It was about
I thought
snitches.
John Gotti lost the Rico though.
John Gotti, he went to jail because of you know what I'm saying, Samuel Bull and all of them told.
Yeah, he was like John Gotti.
Well, Samuel Bull, he's still out.
But I say the only way it benefits the black community.
Oh no! So
if he come and hand
beat the
deliver
first Rico. John Gotti beat the first Rico. It says that he was. He also lost one too, though.
They circle back on that nigga.
One Rico case for
he got way too like flamboyant and cocky.
1992, yeah. It was 5 years ago.
I grew up with John Gotti, them. You know what I'm saying? I that's what I used to see on the news every day. I saw on the news when John Gotti them. It wasn't us that like you had gang banging and stuff like this. When you turn on the 5 o'clock news, you'll see one of the Gambino family members sitting in front of a damn restaurant shot up or so and so whatever. That's the type. You know what I'm saying? With that's where we from. We from where the last place we lived with all them around the corner from where the Sopranos was shot. All them houses was where Diddy house was at. So yeah, all that was John Gotti was a motherfucker. but
think about it. That is what the future lyric says. Beat the first case like John Gotti.
Yeah.
Anything got it.
I'm sorry.
I also say this though. I don't think it's a win for the black community.
You said it is.
I said I don't think it is because I don't think we should like I said I don't think we should pedestalize Diddy, but at the same time I don't think we should try to hold him to any try to give him a break or anything. Whatever happens to him. And like I said, I think it's and I do think I don't see why we call it a win because he's still probably gonna sit down and he's like still going to jail. So I mean, it's still not
because he avoided life. That's why he avoided that life sentence.
Yeah,
that's a win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess compared.
It almost
he avoided life sentence and a 15-year minimum. That's a win. Like you was looking at a 15-year minimum and a life sentence. That's and you didn't hit neither one of those. You just now looking at 10-year maxes.
I just wonder, and I'm gonna throw to Alex right after this question, but like as we have the conversation, sometimes it sounds like our moral conviction is based off of like the legal and like the legal judicial conviction instead of like that dictates what we actually feel about a thing in comparison to what actually happened or we feel happened. And I think that it seems to be like a little it just seems to be interesting. But Alex, what would you say? Is this a win for the black community? I seen you laugh. You had like one of the like the lean back laughs. Is this a win for the black community? Diddy keeping his assets, his record label, his perpetuity, even throughout the universe or whatever they say inside music contracts.
Me personally, no, I don't think this is a win for the black community. I think honestly, this is a temporary reprieve for Diddy because they didn't catch you on the racketeering charges this time, but like that's not to stop them from catching them on something else. That's not going to stop them from the plethora of civil lawsuits.
He does have a bunch of civil lawsuits coming up.
So I don't even think this is a win for Diddy. Like I think Diddy is like pretty much like going to be essentially a cautionary tale. Like, hey man, this shit's going to catch up to you eventually one day. So. I guess to kind of beat back against like the general conspiracy that kind of gets rolled out whenever, like, a black man gets, I don't know, put on trial. There are plenty of black men who have achieved generational wealth that we don't never hear about. They just, do what they're good at, and then they go home. Ken Griffey Jr. play baseball, is a millionaire, like a millionaire. No one knows about him. Like, he plays baseball, and that's the end of it. Andre 3000 makes music, goes home. Who else? Forrest Whitaker makes music, keep his eyes on the prize, and goes home.
This is a list of black billionaires in America. I did kind of pull up as y'all was kind of talking.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
the majority of the men on that list don't got nothing funky going on.
Tiger Woods got his ass whooped by his wife. Let me see. Jay-Z, he always standing somebody trying to do something with him. All right, who we got? We have Maddie Johnson. His scandals. Kanye West. Oh, all right. Rihanna. All right, we know about her. LeBron James. Okay. We can say whatever we want to say about LeBron James. Tyler Perry going through something right now. Michael Jordan. He invested into the systems for the black prison system, the system that's putting people around. Oprah Winfrey, she hell motherfucker. She'd throw any of these black men out on the bus to make a video so she could goddamn say that they did something wrong.
Comparison Q, put up like white billionaires in America.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying, I just put down what it was. All right, enough is enough. All right.
I can't even get you the pictures. There's too many of them.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. This is billionaires in America.
Elon Musk, he's in the scandal. Jeff Bezos.
These three right here is
like they literally took his company away from him.
But see, if any of them would do anything wrong,
I never thought about this. They like the white billionaires do got a little nasty track record for sure.
Yeah, like they getting like mopped up too.
It's not nasty.
Warren Buffett, he kept it clean.
He did. That guy right there.
He a good old Omaha boy.
That guy right there. Yeah, it's a few of them.
Like, if anything, this is just the difference. Like, all the other black men who weren't entertainers on the other list, we don't know about them. Like, they stay out the way. Meanwhile, these men are like in titans of industry, and they still find themselves in trouble. So
you have the one black woman who is one of the few black women that's billionaires that want to tear down any other black man that become a billionaire. No white woman doing that. None of the white women that's billionaires doing that. You have her and her girlfriend are tearing down the whole everybody that's being a black billionaire. If she could find something on you, she gonna find it on you, and she gonna make a documentary about it.
All right. So fellas, we're gonna land the plane here. Kamu, I know you want to say free Diddy. It's free Diddy for life for Kamu, and well. My bad. Let me just go down the line. G, host of the G-ish podcast. Y'all know the 3 Fs. Oh, no, is it the 5 Fs? Johnny, 1/3 of the To Be Fair show, host of the To Be Fair show. We have Agent Orange, aka Alex Orange. Pull back up on us. I seen him in the chat, had to hit him. He said, "You know what? Fuck it. I'll pull up." Pulled up, gems dropped. We rocks with it. Kamu, fresh from South Africa, messing with them farmers. Leave them farmers alone, Kamu.
You're like, what? This nigga, he look genuinely disturbed.
They give them farmers from over there the land to the white American farmers over here.
He looked genuinely bothered. He was like, what? Like,
Kamu, let me make sure you ain't offended. I know you got the delay. You good?
Okay. Yo, man, I'm really struggling to hear you guys.
Oh, okay.
I'm really struggling to hear you.
All right, my bad. All right, so Kamu, we'll chat through it in the after show. Unc, as always, Unc has become one of the Discord favorites too. Discord favorites. If you want to hop into the Discord, find me in the sports chat. I let those guys argue day and night inside the other chats. You can. Yeah. Kamu, they said it's the Bluetooth, my boy. But nonetheless, this has been a fun and interesting, engaging conversation about, like the different dynamics of the Diddy case, what it means for Black America, what it means for the entertainment industry, and what are some things that we should take away from it. This has been Unpacked. Again, every Wednesday, 9:30. Everybody enjoy your Juneteenth. Oh, my bad. Your 4th of July coming on Friday. Everybody's off work. With that said, we out. Peace.
Peace.